It's the first Friday in October, and we've crossed the midway point of the regular season. District races are beginning to take shape, thanks to huge matchups like the one we have tonight. 6th-ranked Midlothian Heritage on the road to face perennial power Mansfield Summit in a pivotal game in District 5-5A Division 2 on Friday Night Football. And with that, we welcome you to Mansfield, joined by former Lincoln High and K-State linebacker Heckma Harrison. I'm Mike Leslie. Heckma, these are two teams that are winding up in the same spot tonight, but coming from very different backgrounds. Heritage moving up from 4AD1 to 5AD2, Summit moving down from 5AD1 to 5AD2. Each of the last 2 years, they went to the state semifinals, so a lot of people had Summit as a preseason favorite to win a state championship this year. Heritage, meanwhile, in moving up, has thrived. 4 straight wins by 4 scores or more.
Yeah, I think you would have thought at the beginning of the season that Heritage would have had more trouble with the move from 4A to 5A. Not so fast. I mean, these guys are handling it with grace, and the way that this team has been successful in getting behind their quarterback, that just pretty much, man, this guy doesn't make many mistakes. But again, I just think the physicality that most people thought that they would encounter by moving up, they haven't seen it.
You take a look at the district standings within 5-5A Division 2, and you see that both of these teams have started off 2-0 within the district, along with Everman. Those 3 teams meet over the course of the next couple of weeks, and you imagine that's going to be how the district title is sorted out. Ennis probably has a say in there as well, Heckma, but these 2 teams are very much the class of this district.
No, absolutely. I mean, and you talk about it. There are some teams in their district that they have to look out for. It's going to be a dogfight all the way through. So tonight is just the start. They both come in here 2-0 in their district, but still, they have to continue to win.
It's a dogfight, and within that, a couple of dogs, both at the quarterback position. Let's start with our players to watch from Midlothian Heritage, and that's their quarterback, Caden Brown.
He is outstanding. We've seen him before, and look, he is the consummate quarterback. He is a leader, but also he's a guy that you like as a coach, that he doesn't turn the ball over. He's very sound in his decision-making, and just having a guy like that at the helm, he makes everyone confident.
And he's got a deep and talented wide receiving core that he can spread the ball around to. Meanwhile, for Mansfield Summit, their quarterback, Joseph Williams, in his first year as a starter, and very much a dual-threat talent.
Yeah, he's just one of those guys. He's so big and physical. I think that's the test for the Heritage defense. They have to keep their eyes on him. He's one of those guys that even when you think you have him bottled up, his ability, his mobility and ability to get out of the pocket is really outstanding. But you talk about his arm. He's a big kid that also has a big arm. He's young, and the sky's the limit for him, really.
He leads the team in both passing yards and rushing yards, so if the ball is moving for Mansfield Summit, chances are good Joseph Williams had something to do with it. It is one of the biggest games of the season in District 5-5A Division 2, and it kicks off next. Midlothian Heritage and Mansfield Summit on Friday Night Football. Our brand new color commentator, Heckma Harrison. Heckma, welcome to the team.
Man, I'm excited.
Touchdown, Randy Reed. Next week, we head out west for a huge game in the 3A ranks as defending state champ Brock hosts Whitesboro. Next Friday at 7:30 on the WFAA YouTube channel and WFAA Plus.
In a world filled with motion, we are the constant. Filled with storms, we are the calm. Filled with uncertainty, we are reassurance. We bring the truth. We bring hope, conviction, a legacy of grit, determination, honesty, and relevant reporting that doesn't just inform, but inspires. We are WFAA.
Hey, I'm Jason. And I'm the other Jason. We're the co-hosts of Y'all-itics, the unofficial political podcast of Texas.
So each week we invite on change makers for cold beer and candid conversations into the issues really affecting Texans.
Yeah, and we're bringing in diverse viewpoints so you get to listen and really understand.
This is solid information and a deep dive you're not going to get anywhere else.
Not to brag.
Just to brag a little bit.
Okay, a little. We've been trending and making headlines.
Plus, we have more than 1 million downloads.
And still counting.
Anderson Stadium in Mansfield, the site tonight for Friday Night Football as the Heritage Jaguars visit Mansfield Summit. Head coaches tonight. First for the visiting Heritage Jaguars, Eric Edwards, his first year as the head coach for Heritage, the defensive coordinator prior under Lee Wigginton, taking over this year and off to a 4-1 start this season. For Summit, Shannon Hall, his 7th year at Summit, 46-30 in that span. He's led his team to the state semifinals in each of the last 2 seasons. Heritage won the toss and elected to receive Heckma Harrison, so we see the Heritage Jaguars offense first in a battle of Jaguars. It's Heritage's offense that takes the field first tonight.
You know, I love it. You know, most teams, when they win the coin toss, they like to defer to the second half. And the Jaguars are just saying, you know what? We feel good today. We want to put our offense out there on the field. We understand that we're going to be in a contest that's going to be physical. Points are going to come at a premium, and we want to get out and get this thing going immediately. And you're right. When I say Jaguars, I'm talking about both teams. So I'm going to have to fix that as I go along tonight, Mike.
It's going to be a lot of Summit and Heritage rather than Jaguars and Jaguars, but we'll sort out who the better Jaguars are over the course of the next 3 hours here at Anderson Stadium in Mansfield. Out to kick it away for Heritage, and deep to return for the Heritage Jaguars, taking it from his own 19-yard line, bobbled it momentarily, but Stetson Surratt out to the 33-yard line off the kick from Abel Ula, and out comes Caden Brown, the senior quarterback, and this Midlothian Heritage offense.
Yeah, this is what you've been waiting for, man. You want to see Caden Brown come out and get this offense started. You know, you talked about the one stat to me that really sticks out about him that it boggles the mind is the fact that he hadn't thrown any interceptions. And you know that this is a passing offense. It just says how secure his ball security and the way that he operates in the pocket. So he's coming up against a defense that is physical. And look, man, he's going to have some guys out there that's going to be after him. So hopefully this offensive line is up to the task.
It'll be 1st and 10 from the 37. And out comes Caden Brown on the first snap of the day. Quick throw near side, complete in the hands of Sam Hopkins and wrestled out of bounds, but not before a pickup of a dozen and a flag on the first play of the game as well. Are they going to get him for slinging him down, or do they?
I believe so. I think they're going to call a horse collar. Didn't look like much of a horse collar to me.
No.
But I'm sure Coach Hall is not happy about that. Don't have a well. The board is on the far end zone.
A little bit of a bizarre call there, but right off the rip, the answer here from the Summit defense, getting in the backfield and taking Mason O'Neal down for a big loss.
Yeah, you better watch Ross Weaver. On the outside, that linebacker, man, he is a strong and long player, a guy that will disrupt this running game. I know that, you know, for Heritage, what they like to do is do a lot of misdirection in the running game, but this is a fast defense and not going to be as easy to get to the edges against this team, Summit team, as other teams in 5A.
So 2nd down and long now. Quick throw far side. Stetson Surratt on the receiving end across the 30, and that'll make 3rd down a bit more manageable here, Heckma.
Absolutely. And this Stetson Surratt, man, he is we've got an opportunity to see him before earlier versus Stephenville in their one loss that they have. But you see Surratt, man, he finds those holes in the zone, and he will sit down in those little 5-yard, 10-yard passes. He can dink and dunk like that all day long with number 7.
So 3rd down And call it 4 to go here for Caden Brown. He's in shotgun, 2 wides to the near side. And look to their offensive coordinator, Ryan Smith, who is Caden Brown's stepfather. They change the play here. Claps for the snap. Sets up the screen far side, but it's knocked away. Legend Journey got his big paw up and knocked it away.
Oh, man, you beat me to saying his name. You know that's his name. I have been wanting to say that name for a few days now. Look, to the journeys that are out there, what a name, okay? You've got a ball if your name is Legend Journey, okay? You've got to be special in life if you are Legend Journey.
He was special right there, knocking it away and forcing 4th down and 4 here. Kind of no man's land, so Heritage is going to go for it. They do have a kicker in Dylan Riggins who feels like he's got range out to about 50-52, so they are within that range. And now they will call timeout here prior to the snap. To talk this over a bit further, some discombobulation really on both sides because Heritage was looking to their sideline. Summit's defense was kind of jostling around and signaling to one another as well, trying to get situated. So everybody, Heckman, needed a moment to catch themselves.
No, absolutely. And you know, like you said, they find themselves in no man's land. But as we've been watching their kicker warm up, man, he was banging those things out from about 50 yards. So this is well within his distance. So really interesting decision for Coach Eric Edwards.
Michael Hall in the YouTube comments tonight says, what's up to the two of us? He said he's watching from down the street from us at Vernon Newsom, just down the way, watching Cedar Hill and Mansfield High square off tonight. Do let us know in the YouTube comments where you're tuning in from, who you're watching tonight. If you got a favorite player on one of these two teams. I did see a comment about the twins, the Hopkins brothers for Heritage, Sam and Solomon Hopkins. 4th down and 4 out of the timeout. Hopkins is one of the motion men. Brown rolling near side, looking downfield, time evaporating, underthrows his man as he was off his back foot, and it's incomplete. Mario White applying the pressure, and Summit comes up with a big stop.
And you see Mario White, 6'3", 205 pounds. He is tracking. He is not going to let Caden Brown get outside, coming straight down the line, doing a wonderful job. A guy his size, 6'3", 205 pounds. That's just wonderful speed on the outside for this Summit defense.
So taking over for the first time tonight is this Mansfield Summit offense. Joseph Williams, their junior quarterback, 6'3", 190 pounds, big kid, Heckma, and has a lot of capabilities. He's going to keep it here on the first play, pitch out wide, and an alley on the far sideline to pick up 8 or 9 for Amari Burgess.
Yeah, basically Summit operates in that read option offense, and when you have a quarterback as big as Joseph Williams is, he makes your edge. He really tests your edges. You have to play sound. You have to play discipline on him and not allow him to get to the outside. But what's even worse is once he pitches the ball, the ability of his running backs to get positive yardage.
A gain of 8 on the play there for Burgess. Handoff coming near side this time for Jalen Joseph. He turns the corner and has enough for the first down. Beg your pardon, Devon Soleil, who's saved by John, just jumped in the comments and let us know that's who he's tuning in to see tonight. He said, Soleil, baby. And right on cue around the corner.
Right. Soleil doing a wonderful job getting around the edge and picking up that first down. But again, they have so much speed at those skill positions. It's going to really stretch and test this Heritage defense.
1st and 10 just across the midfield stripe here for this Summit Jaguars offense. To the air for the first time today for Joseph Williams, looking deep on the post. Single coverage, knocked away. John Olasanya with the breakup.
Olasanya with the seat belt. He's saying, look here, I am not going to be tested out here on the post route, but that's a good throw by Joseph Williams, but even better coverage by number 12.
Olasanya coming over the top of Dorian McDade, who is the deep threat, certainly the biggest receiver that Summit has to work with, and he had a big week a week ago, 4 receptions for 105 yards and 3 touchdowns in that 40-22 win over Burleson 2 weeks ago. Hooks the motion man, handoff Burgess running right. Breaks a tackle and gets to the outside. Look at Amari Burgess scampering his way inside the 35, and another first down carry for the junior running back.
And the junior running back is just showing you patience. Look at this, man, the vision that he has and the balance to get outside, trust his blocking, pick up that positive yardage. A lot of times, those running backs, man, they get happy feet. They try and get yards where it's not there. That's a good job by the junior, Amari Burgess, picking his spots.
John Williams in the YouTube comments says he's watching from home. Bryce M says watching from Wichita Falls, cheering on Summit, says he's a proud alumni from Summit, class of 2017. Man What Production says they're fans of Summit ISD. Spinning through the hole is Burgess, and another nice pickup there. Pat McMahon says he's watching from Bellows Falls, Vermont tonight.
Bellows Falls, Vermont. All right. Thanks for tuning in.
Getting up toward my neck of the woods.
Yeah, man.
Not too far away from where I'm from in upstate New York.
Yeah.
2nd down and 4 as we tick down to 8 minutes remaining here in the opening frame. Mansfield Summit's first possession of the football game. They got a 4th down stop of Heritage in their own territory to set up this possession. That ball's on the deck, and Heritage has it. A fumble on the transfer from Williams to Burgess. Heritage certainly thinks they have it. No, the officials are going to say this stays Summit football.
Wow, that looked like that was a fumble on the handoff. Look at the replay here. No, it looks like he has it. That ball is out. That ball is out. That ball hits the ground. What are they?
Wow, and look at this. Let's see if we can get a look. It was Williams who ultimately ended up with the football.
That's what it was. Okay.
Is that Sir Luke Tante who had a chance at it? He looked very much, I beg your pardon, it was 8, not 9. Solomon Hopkins looked like he had that football, and it squirted away from him, and Williams comes away with a huge recovery.
What a lucky bounce, because that definitely was a fumble.
So 3rd down and 6 off of that. A big break here for Summit. Can they take advantage? Williams running right. Taken down close to the sticks. I think he's going to be a hair shy.
And that's where you talk about being in no man's land. This is definitely go-forward territory for Summit. And what's unfortunate is that their big center, Carlos Betancourt, he loses a helmet, so his replacement has to come in. I believe that's number 55, Flores. Big difference. Carlos Betancourt, 6'3", 328. Flores, number 55, 5'9", 250.
Huge difference on a big 4th and 2 here on the opening possession of the day for Summit. The Summit defense got a 4th down stop. Can Heritage respond in kind? Williams to keep it himself. 1st down and an awful lot more. Inside the 10. Joseph Williams on 4th and 2 to the end zone. 22 yards on the touchdown run, and Summit strikes first.
Look at Joseph Williams, man, using all 6'3", 190 pounds of himself to break tackles or run through those arm tackles. No one really even touched him. What am I talking about? This guy is really just, man, he is working out here on that opening drive, and Summit means business.
The extra point punched through by Abel Ula, and it's a 7-0 start for the Mansfield Summit Jaguars. Joseph Williams keeping it himself on 4th and 2 to the end zone. And in a battle of Jaguars, it's Summit who strikes first on Friday Night Football. To the end zone for South Oak Cliff.
Our brand new color commentator, Heckma Harrison. Heckma, welcome to the team.
Man, I'm excited.
Touchdown, Randy Reed.
Next week, we head out west for a huge game in the 3A ranks as defending state champ Brock hosts Whitesboro. Next Friday at 7:30 on the WFAA YouTube channel and WFAA Plus.
Summit quarterback Joseph Williams with his 7th rushing touchdown of the season. And Mansfield Summit strikes first. Heckma Harrison, a really nice start for Shannon Hall's club. offensively and defensively, starting the game with purpose and executing on both sides of the football.
Well, they've got to be confident in themselves. I mean, they had a tough go with some tough opponents. The first two opponents were the class of 6A, right? They come out, they get those losses, but you know what? That wakes them up. And I love when we got an opportunity to talk with Coach Shannon Hall, and he said the standard is the standard. I think we've heard that before, and you got to live up to the standard that they have here at Summit. And all of these players now seem to be playing with a sense of urgency. They know what's at stake here, and this would be a quality win. But don't you worry, this Heritage squad will answer.
Tate Jackson scooping up a squirrely kickoff there from Summit. And it will be 1st and 10 at the 33 for the number 6 team in the state of Texas in 5A Division II, the Midlothian Heritage Jaguars.
What they're going to have to rely on is they're going to have to get some things going in their running game. As much as they want to get behind Caden Brown's arm, they're going to have to throw this Summit defense off a little bit. Otherwise, man, these guys will just bend their ears back and come after them.
3 wides to the near side here for Brown. Handoff, though, for Mason O'Neal, who lowers his shoulder into the pile and picks up 4 to 5 here on the first play of the series.
Yeah, you have to stay balanced, and that's a good job of trying to stretch those edges with Mason O'Neal. He's going to be the bell cow for them tonight as they are missing Jason Barella, who's out with a shoulder injury, and that's unfortunate because he's a young man that runs really tough in between the tackles, so they're going to miss his presence here tonight.
We saw him against Stephenville in the opener on Friday Night Football have a very nice night. He's been out since the Waco-La Vega game, though. This time it's going to be Caden Brown to keep it himself. Ran into his own blocker, had to reassess, and maybe was able to pick up about a yard.
And what I'm witnessing right now is just the line of scrimmage. Look at this defense for Summit. They are so tough at the point of contact. Up front, you know, Legend Journey, Mario White, Broderick Stewart, man, they have got some dogs in the inside, man, and they're clogging things up.
3rd down and call it 5. They've got to get to the 43-yard line to pick up a 1st down. Brown rolling near side, looking downfield, has a man complete. 1st down and then some for TJ Pride. Makes a nice move up the sideline. Pride inside the 25. High stepping his way out of bounds at the 20.
And number 1, this kid, number 1, he's number 1 on the field and number 1 in the program. Do you hear me? This guy, you open up, look at this move on the outside. He just sidesteps a defender and extends that play.
TJ Pride marked out of bounds at the 19, so a red zone penetration here for the Heritage Jaguars. A good bounce back after giving up the touchdown drive to Summit just moments ago. And Caden Brown and company threatening here. 3 wides to the near side for Brown. O'Neal in the sidecar to his left. Play action fake, looking up the sideline again for TJ Pride. Single coverage knocked away. Landon Anglin with the breakup.
Yeah, Anglin, he has his work cut out for him today. TJ Pride, he's so shifty. One of those guys that really has that short area explosiveness, right? He can take a 5-yard pass to the house, but he also has an extremely good vertical. So you got to watch him, but that's a good job by Anglin, who's in man-to-man coverage by using the sideline as an extra defender.
2nd down and 10 now. 4:22 here in the opening quarter on Friday Night Football. 7-0 Mansfield Summit. Joseph Williams with a 22-yard touchdown run on 4th and 2 to open the scoring. Brown flushed backward, trying to get away. Chased on the sideline and finally taken down. Good job by Brown to get back to the line of scrimmage, but good pursuit from this Summit defense.
Man, you don't want to take many shots like that. I believe that's number 8, Ross Weaver. Look at him tracking. This is sideline to sideline business right here. And if you're a linebacker, whew, you like to see that, man. That's number 9, Jaden Williams. 5'10", 170 pounds. Another guy that can run really well.
Yeah, they really like Jaden Williams. They feel like he can play any of the 3 linebacker spots if they need him to. He's their starter at Sam linebacker, and he showed some of that strength right there. 3rd down and 10 now for Caden Brown. 3 to the right, 1 to the left. Looking up the seam, single coverage, incomplete. Miscommunication there with Stetson Surratt, and it's 4th down.
Yeah, I want to call it a miscommunication or legend journey. Look at the penetration that he gets and moves Caden Brown off of his spot to throw that ball. Boy, Caden Brown stands in there trying to deliver that ball in, but he took a shot. He couldn't follow through.
Caden Brown and Ryan Smith, the offensive coordinator, father and son, talking things through after the 3rd down and 10 incompletion. Trying to figure out how to deal with the size and the tenacity of Legend Journey at that defensive tackle spot. 36-yard field goal on the way. No good, wide to the right. Dylan Riggins has a big leg, but didn't catch that one fully square, Heckma, and it stays 7-0.
Wow, I saw both of the refs sitting there. They kind of looked at each other from this angle, but no good. And Summit starts from the 20. Tell you right now, man, I'm impressed with this Summit team. It's our first time having an opportunity to see them. You know, you try and you study these teams and you look at them versus bigger opponents and some of their victories that they had. But I'm telling you, looking at these guys, they passed the eyeball test. They have got some dogs on that team.
Some big bodies that can move on that defensive front, and they have made life difficult on Heritage so far tonight. 1st down carry for Burgess goes a whole lot of nowhere. They're going to give him maybe 3 on the carry, so a good job to get something out of that. In fact, 4. It'll be 2nd and 6. In the YouTube comments, Richard Glenn says he's watching from Calgary tonight. Says, AB, me and my team beat Summit at 06 for the district. Both Burleson and Summit undefeated, and we marched 90-plus yards to beat Summit in the 4th round from behind with time expiring. Says as a result, he can't cheer for Summit.
He's just bragging right now.
That's all. Hey, listen, we welcome bragging in the YouTube comments. Why not? Up the sideline for Burgess, dropping into the bucket is Joseph Williams, right on target, and into Heritage territory goes Summit.
Look at the weapon that Amari Burgess is. He goes on a route, just a long wheel route, and that's one where Joseph Williams has to wait on him to come open, and he delivers a shot right over the shoulder for Amari Burgess. That's great execution by this Summit offense.
So Summit already with a 7-0 lead on state-ranked Midlothian Heritage, and now into Heritage territory once again. Again, some miscommunication here on the handoff. Williams and Burgess both thought the read was that Burgess that they should have been the one with the football, and it became tug-of-war in there.
Yeah, it was their football for a long time. Plural. They just could not let the ball go. And fortunately, in situations like that, there's always a fumble at the end of it. So thankfully for Summit, they did not turn the ball over, but that's good awareness. Just starting out by the Heritage defense. Right now, that's being taken to task.
Damian Alexander, the starting defensive tackle, one of the captains for Heritage, there to make the play. So now 2nd down and long. And a nice job of stringing it out there by the Heritage defense. Caden Gladney forcing Williams backward. He did eventually scamper back to, didn't quite get back to the line of scrimmage. It's going to be a loss of 2. It's going to be 3rd down and 13.
Well, I'll tell you what you have to do is you have to stay alignment, assignment sound. When you have a guy like Joseph Williams back there that is a dual threat. You talked about it in the open, his ability to run, but also pass. And so he's dangerous. And when he looks to run, man, he's the kind of guy that can, go off for a big gain. So that's a good job by Heritage.
3rd and 13, they try and set up the tunnel screen, and it's dropped. They had it set up for Isaiah Allen, and he just didn't secure the catch.
Wow. Isaiah Allen in film study tomorrow is going to hate himself for this drop, because that was a perfect play call by the offensive coordinator, and just, one of those things that I've always been taught as a defender, man. I remember Coach Jim Levitt, the coach at Kansas State, told me, if you find yourself running by yourself to the quarterback, stop. You're not that good. They didn't forget to block you. Okay, so just
4th and 13, they're going to go deep out of necessity behind the defense, but just off target. They couldn't quite make the connection with Devon Soleil, and Heritage gets the stop.
Oh, Soleil. I don't know if he loses this ball in the lights, but that's one of those passes that you'd like to see your receiver at least try and come back for if it's underthrown, to try and make a play on the ball, force a pass interference, but somehow he just lets the ball fall at his feet.
Richard Glenn in the comments says if that's at R.L. Anderson, it is indeed. He said they flipped the home team sideline from the pass. Observant of you, Richard Glenn. You are correct. They did flip-flop it over the course of the last couple of years. Edward Jones says he's watching from New Jersey tonight. We appreciate you tuning in. Plasm says Joe with a bomb like always, talking about Williams hitting Burgess up the far sideline a moment ago. Caden Lopez says he's watching from Dallas, rooting for Summit, and number 60 for Summit. As up the sideline, right up the middle goes Mason O'Neal. Mason O'Neal says, stop looking at YouTube comments, Mike Leslie, to the end zone. 57 yards for the touchdown on the first play of the series.
How about that for Mason O'Neal saying, anything you can do, I can do it better. Watch this, man. He is out. No one is going to catch him. He's running past everybody. Good job by this offensive line, opening up a hole. Mike Leslie, I think you could have ran for that touchdown.
If I was paying attention, maybe.
No, man. You didn't expect the action to happen that fast. Okay?
I didn't. I was trying to give a shout out to Caden Lopez, and Mason O'Neal said, hey, look at me, dude. 57 yards to the end zone, and on comes Riggins for the PAT to even things up at 7 points apiece. Let's get another look at Mason O'Neal going 57 yards to the end zone so that I can actually see the whole play for the first time tonight.
Oh, they got a trap block there, and again, they just open things up in the middle, and that's a good job by number 17, Mason O'Neal, 5'8", 170 pounds, but he is a speedster. As you can see, once he got to the second level, no one was going to catch him.
And Mason O'Neal knots it up at 7 points apiece on Friday Night Football.
Hey, I'm Jason.
And I'm the other Jason. We're the co-hosts of Y'all-itics, the unofficial political podcast of Texas.
So each week we invite on changemakers for cold beer and candid conversations into the issues really affecting Texans.
Yeah, and we're bringing in diverse viewpoints so you get to listen and really understand.
This is solid information and a deep dive you're not going to get anywhere else.
Not to brag,
just to brag a little bit.
Okay, a little. We've been trending and making headlines.
Plus, we have more than 1 million downloads.
And still counting.
As we welcome you back to R.L. Anderson Stadium here in Mansfield. 7 points apiece here late in the first quarter. Joseph Williams with a 22-yard touchdown run for Mansfield Summit, and Mason O'Neal with a 57-yarder just moments ago to tie the game up at 7 points apiece. The kickoff from Riggins straight through the end zone for a touchback. Connor P. says, that's my O-line right there. Misplaying at Heritage because of those guys. Darnell Ikome, apologies if I'm mispronouncing your name, says his cousin is number 9, the defensive end. That's Sir Luke Tante. Says he's hoping that he does well tonight. Lushan Cleve says he's in Dallas at the American Airlines Center watching. We appreciate you tuning in. I'm not sure what's going on at the Is there a Stars preseason game perhaps tonight? I apologize. I'm very much laser focused on high school football tonight. I'm not even sure what's going on at the AAC tonight. From the 25 to begin the series, Joseph Williams in shotgun. Just over a minute remaining here in the first quarter. Handoff Burgess trying to win the foot race to the sideline and will not. B.J. Thomas running him out of bounds for no gain.
And you can tell right now that they have made some adjustments on defense. Before, they were allowing these guys to capture the edge and get outside, but not anymore. They shored things up, and you see exactly B.J. Thomas coming from his inside linebacker spot, tracking that thing down and just not going to allow these guys to get on the outside anymore, even with that read option look.
Relinda Sanders says, let's go Summit. Watching from Dallas tonight. Vanessa Adams says, we got this Summit. Number 75, Jay, I love you. That's Jaden Ferdinand. They're starting right guard. Let's see what he can do. They run right behind him here on the big play, right up the gut in the hands of Devon Soleil, and he's got the first down.
Both of these teams are really solid at the offensive line. I mean, you look at Jalen Cavill, Whew. Man, this is a young man that at number 56, their left tackle, he is so big and physical, and he just looks like a man out there, man. He is filling that black uniform out.
The first down run gets him out to the 38-yard line. Fresh 1st and 10. Play action fake. Williams looking deep up the post once again. Can't quite connect with Dorian McDade, and once again, Heckma, there's John Olasanya step for step with him.
And Olasanya, you may want to find someone else to try and pick on, because Olasanya doing a good job, man. He stays in the hip pocket of these fast receivers, tracking the whole way, and that's what you want from your corner. You want a guy that even if he's playing in phase, he doesn't lose sight of where the ball is, and he's keeping position right behind these guys to make a play on the ball.
2nd down and 10. Handoff Burgess, nice cut in the hole. Darts his way for 6 on what may be the final play of this opening quarter. Isha Uniquely E says in the comments, just moved to Midlothian from Mansfield. Says her 2 oldest graduated from Lake Ridge High School, so she's rooting for a fun, exciting game tonight.
That's what I was just about to say. Who is she actually pulling for now? We understand these.
A fun, exciting game. That's what I'm hoping for tonight as well, and we've got it through 1 quarter of play. 7 apiece, Summit and Heritage, a battle of Jaguars even after 1 on Friday Night Football. To the end zone for South Oak Cliff.
Our brand new color commentator, Heckma Harrison. Heckma, welcome to the team.
Man, I'm excited.
Touchdown, Randy Reed.
Next week, we head out west for a huge game in the 3A ranks as defending state champ Brock hosts Whitesboro. Next Friday at 7:30 on the WFAA YouTube channel and WFAA Plus.
As we welcome you back here on Friday Night Football, I'll give you a look at Mansfield Summit and what they've done over the course of the last couple of years. State semifinal runs in each of the last 2 seasons as a 5A D1 program. Heckma Harrison lost to eventual state champion Denton Ryan in 2020, College Station in 21. So this year dropping down to 5A D2. There's a lot of people that believe this team's got real big promise.
Yeah, big promise, and they have some really big physical football players, as you can see right now, opening up this 2nd quarter, and that's what they do. They get behind that running game. Coach Shannon Hall, he has these guys. This is a physical team. No matter which division they're going to be in, you come up against them in the playoffs, you're going to have to button your chin strap. You have to adjust that thing and tighten it a little bit more when you're coming up against the Mansfield Summit Jaguars. And they're not only like this on offense, they do the same thing on defense. So it's not surprising how far they've been getting in the playoffs. It's just really like them being bumped down a notch really is really the bigger surprise.
Yeah. Soleil with the carry there on the first play of the set. And they're going to give it to him once again right up the gut, finding a small hole, but he pops the ball loose, and it's Heritage football. This time the Jaguars do indeed pounce on top of it. Heritage comes up with a big stop.
Yeah, that's absolutely what you cannot do if you're Soleil, but that's a tackle that's made right on that football by Solomon Hopkins. That's a good job by your safety, coming up and being physical. And he's a guy that last year hurt his knee and was out. So, man, really excited to see him back healthy and making plays.
One of the real leaders of this Heritage defense, making a big play there, put his hat on the football. And back comes Caden Brown and this Heritage offense. First and 10 from the 37. Motion man is Surratt. Fakes the handoff and just has to eat the face of Legend Journey.
Wow. I mean, wow. This is 6'3", 250 pounds. And look at the penetration that he gets. I mean, it's really hard. He is a problem on the outside. He is one of those kids that can switch, speed to power. I've seen a few times he'll bull rush, but he's also very good at using his hands. And he has a lot of offers on the table. A ton of D1 schools want Legend Journey to be a part of their program.
Handoff O'Neal up the middle, spins his way back to the original line of scrimmage to set up 3rd down and 10. I mean, you're talking big-time Power 5 programs, too. Oklahoma State, Ole Miss, TCU, some Group of 5 teams, Houston, SMU, Texas Tech also obviously part of the Big 12. So, I mean, some big-time programs that want him on their football field.
Well, right now, I haven't said this kid's name. I think I have once. Number 78, Broderick Stewart.
Big dude.
Oh, my God. Whoa.
6'2", 300, and he looks even bigger than that.
I mean,
Brown flushed out, fires downfield. That's going to be enough for a first down. Nice move on the sideline. And Heritage moves the chains with TJ Pride making the move.
how about that for Caden Brown, escaping the pressure? And that is so special. Look at him running and throwing on the move, getting the ball on the outside to TJ Pride. And he knows, man, when he needs a possession, he knows where the hands are. And number 1, TJ Pride is his go-to.
Fresh 1st and 10 at the 49-yard line on their own side of the field. Brown, quick throw near side, complete. That's Tate Jackson, the recently eligible wide receiver / running back. He missed the first few games of the season, but eligible for their last game as well as tonight, and in there making an impact.
Yeah, Jackson has to go and get his towel back.
Officials holding the snap there for a moment. They were trying to snap it quick, and Ryan Smith not happy that the officials wouldn't let him snap it there. That was something Shannon Hall told us earlier this week. He knows that listen, they're going to try and go tempo sometimes and try and catch us. They were trying to right there. Handoff up the middle for O'Neal. Give him 3.
Yeah, and I don't blame them. You know, once you get this Summit defense on their heels, you got to go right back to them and not allow these guys to adjust or make any substitutions. And they had the right play called. Unfortunately, the refs would not allow them to hike the ball. And this is a free play.
Yes, it is. Up the sideline once again, looking for that one-on-one matchup, and nearly hauled in by Xavier Moten.
Oh, man. Xavier Moten is a playmaker and a guy that has someone in his hip pocket. And trying to make that one-handed catch, he just could not get it. He doesn't drop many of those, Mike, but tell you, that would have been a highlight reel catch was he able to bring that one in.
He has had a very nice season. Of his 17 receptions so far this year, 8 of them have gone for touchdowns. He is a big play waiting to happen. 2nd down and 2, and now he's the one who jumps offside here. They gave the free play back.
Yeah, gave it back. So impressed right now with this battle that's going on up front. Both of these teams, man, this is the ebb and flow back and forth between the wins and losses between this offense and defensive line. Only 2 quarters in, man, you could tell this is going to be a battle all the way through.
Motion man was Jackson. Handoff O'Neal up the middle here on 2nd down and 7, and he's thrown back. May have gotten half a yard on the play. It'll be 3rd and 6. Some big support here in the YouTube comments from a couple different people for Soleil, who had that fumble moments ago, saying, "In Soleil we trust," over and over again. Obviously a big moment, something that Soleil would want back, but the folks in the YouTube comments say, hey, we got you. We know you're going to come back and make a play for us at some point.
No, he is definitely a weapon. He's a kid that's so fast and physical as well, but, man, his ability to cut and get on the outside, they mix these 2 running backs in well. So, no, that was a fumble that, you know, you got a kid that puts his helmet right on that football, and most people can't, you know, hold on to the ball if you got that happening.
Yeah, Zeke Elliott's fumbling that football.
Yeah.
3rd down and medium. Brown's going to keep it himself, trying to get to the corner, dives, and I think he will have enough for the first down. The quarterback making the effort and moving the chains.
Man, look at this from Caden Brown. This is all heart right here. But recognizing that he has Legend Journey fooled who bites on the dive and doesn't see Caden Brown making it around the outside. You gotta, if you're Legend Journey, you want to make sure that you maintain him, and Mario White have to maintain containment on that side. But that's a good read by Caden Brown in picking up the 1st down yardage.
Ball right at the 30-yard stripe, 1st and 10 as we approach the midway point here of the 2nd quarter. Quick throw far side, Stetson Surratt. 1st down, across the 25. It'll be close to 1st down yardage. Give him maybe 8 or 9 on the play.
I love those quick throws from Caden Brown. He is laser sharp when all he has is just a 5-yard, and he can do the long passes as well. But those short yardage throws, he is surgical.
2nd down and 3 it'll be. They've got to get to the 20-yard line for a 1st down. Straight drop from Brown. Look it over the middle, wide open. Moten to the end zone. He's in. Touchdown, Heritage.
Man, what execution by Caden Brown. Mike, this is all set up with Caden Brown's eyes. Look at the way he moves the safety, comes back across the field, and gets the ball to his playmaker, number 11, Xavier Moten. That's an excellent job.
They had been looking for Moten. This time they find him. 23 yards for the touchdown, and Heritage with their first lead of the football game. And at least for the moment, leaving their offense on, and now they'll bring the kicking unit out. Eric Edwards thought about the 2-point conversion for a moment, but now on comes Dylan Riggins for the PAT. High snap, but brought down nicely, and the extra point is up and through. And Caden Brown, with his 19th touchdown pass of the season, still yet to throw a pick. This time he finds Xavier Moten over the middle for 6, and Heritage has the lead midway through the 2nd quarter. To the end zone for South Oak Cliff.
Our brand new color commentator, Heckma Harrison. Heckma, welcome to the team.
Man, I'm excited.
Touchdown, Randy Reed.
Next week, we head out west for a huge game in the 3A ranks as defending state champ Brock hosts Whitesboro. Next Friday at 7:30 on the WFAA YouTube channel and WFAA Plus.
Back in Mansfield on Friday Night Football, 14-7. Midlothian Heritage, the number 6 team in the state in 5A Division II. Back-to-back touchdowns, Heckma Harrison, in that drive. Impressive.
No, it really was, and that's what you're supposed to do when you get a turnover like that. You make a team like Summit. You got to make them pay for it. But Caden Brown was just surgical on that drive. Did some really good things, picking up the 1st down with his legs even. But that throw to Moten, man, that was excellent.
From his own 1, ahead of steam here for Isaiah Allen out across the 40-yard line, and a nice return. There is a flag down, though, back at the 21-yard line that may eat into this.
Looks like we got a hold right there at the 20-yard line.
It is indeed a hold against the return team from Mansfield Summit. Mike Ritchie, our referee tonight, the leader of a 7-man crew out of the Fort Worth football officials chapter.
And that's unfortunate because that's a play that Summit needed to kind of steal back some momentum in this game. But hey, if you're Summit, seriously, Coach Hall is just saying, look guys, calm down. All right, let's get our bearings about us. Let's not turn this ball over because this is a good football team, ranked football team across from us. We have to play discipline. We have to be sound, but this is one of those drives where you have to get points.
It's a point in the football game, though, where I think it's important for Kendrick Pope, their offensive coordinator, to fully understand, hey, everything is still in front of you. Don't get into, oh, we got to throw the football. It's a 7-point game. You can still have your entire playbook in front of you as the carry here for Burgess picks up 7 or 8 on the first play of the series. They've still got everything in front of them, Heckma.
No, they really do. But sometimes what happens is when you have a drive, a team steals a little bit of momentum. What do? You start pressing. All right, you want to start making big plays. You want to start extending and stretching the field, and you go away from your scheme. And so you're right. Coach Pope really just has to play within himself because he has all the playmakers on his side.
Williams going to keep it himself this time, trying to get to the sideline. Nice move, ducks inside, up the sideline, cross the 30. Look at Joseph Williams making moves and picking up the 1st down.
I've been trying to figure out who he reminds me of Joseph Williams, he really reminds me a lot of a kid from Duncanville, Jaquindon Jackson.
Okay.
That's who he reminds me of.
Okay.
His ability, I mean, Jaquindon also he made throws when he needed to, but it was his legs that really was the great separator.
Yeah.
And that's what I see from Joseph Williams. He really has that Jaquindon Jackson it factor to his game.
That move he made to evade a guy in space had it factor written all over it. And it's 1st and 10 at the 37-yard line. Handoff Burgess. Hole collapsed quickly thanks to B.J. Thomas, a gain of 2.
Boy, B.J. Thomas, that may have been a touchdown-saving tackle because he had a lot of space out there in between the hash and the numbers.
Again, let us know in the YouTube comments where you're tuning in from tonight if you've got a favorite player on one of these two teams. Felicia Dixon says, that's my cuzzo. I'm not sure exactly who she's referring to, but
I got a cousin named Felicia. She might be talking about me.
Hi, Felicia. 2nd down and 7. Williams pressured out of the pocket, looking downfield, trying to make a man miss. Can't get around B.J. Thomas, but does have enough for the 1st down as he gets out to the midfield stripe.
You know, I just really like this kid, man. Joseph Williams, you know, he doesn't see it. He doesn't force anything either, you know. He recognizes that it's not open, and instead of taking a coverage sack, he recognizes where he has space, and he runs for daylight.
And when you're as big and athletic as he is at 6'3", 190 pounds,
yeah,
it's always going to be a process to take that kid to the ground, whether he makes a move on you or if he just tries to go through you. It's going to be hard every time.
Yeah, he's a junior, okay? So, hey, another summer of mama's cooking, man. This kid may put on 20 pounds.
Quickly to the outside, trying to get the quarter, but not quite for Jalen Joseph, the senior running back. Give him a yard on the play. Felicia Dixon says it was Joseph Williams that she was talking about. That's her cousin. She's got a good reason to be excited right now with the plays he's made lately.
I'm just making fun, Felicia. I got you.
Bill Studd says he's tuning in from Cleveland, Ohio tonight. Shot by Reginald says he's tuning in from Kansas City, Missouri. D-Jam 33333 says rooting for Joseph Williams. Winnipeg, Canada for David Warkentin. 2nd down and 9. Williams fakes the handoff, keeps it himself. Flag behind the play as he scoots across the 45. Some contact out of bounds, and that's going to draw a flag. So you're going to have one penalty during the play, another afterward.
Well, I saw a holding penalty up front on the offensive line. Interesting to see what this is on the sideline.
Get another look at it here on the replay. You can see some extracurriculars there between, I think, an offensive lineman and a defensive lineman. I'm not sure exactly who they're going to get here for the penalty, whether it's going to be on Summit or on Heritage.
Yes, maybe both on Summit.
It's a real quick way to debilitate a drive. Holding against Summit. Dead ball. Personal foul against Heritage. 15-yard penalty, so they only give the 15-yard penalty to Heritage, so they'll walk the 10-yard penalty back for the holding, then walk the 15-yard penalty forward, and all of that will be a net 5-yard difference, and they will place the football at the 44 in Heritage territory. What's really important about that, though, is that is because it was a post-play penalty and a personal foul, a fresh 1st and 10 here for the Summit offense.
I'm so happy I got you up here explaining it all to me, Mike Leslie. It looked like a whole bunch of walking back and forth to me. So
there was a lot going on there.
Yeah.
Good job by Mike Ritchie and his crew, though, to sort it all out. 1st and 10 from the 44. Quick throw near side. Saleh, bobble, bobble, bobble. Can't quite hang on to it. That is an incomplete pass. Picking it up just to be sure was Solomon Hopkins, but Saleh never quite squeezed it.
And you see him out there in the slot. They just, right now, what Summit is trying to do is just get the ball into the hands of the playmakers. When you have a guy like Devon Saleh that you know he can get this ball out on the outside, one step, and he can go. But, man, just handling that pass that was just a little bit in front of him from Joseph Williams, not able to secure the pass.
Second down and 10 now. 3 to the near side for Joseph Williams. Burgess in the backfield with him. He'll run the option with Burgess and keep it himself. Decisive up the sideline goes Joseph Williams across the 30 and a first down.
See how dangerous he is, right? I mean, you have to honor him, and you see the linebackers trying to stay disciplined and run to the man on the outside, but when you leave number 2, Joseph Williams, by himself, and that's how dangerous he is as a runner. And here it is, 4:14 here in the second. We talked about them needing to answer, and I think they're just marching down, and this is one of those drives. If you're Summit, man, you've got to clock this one in with some points.
It will be Summit football to start the second half. And with as methodical and as patient as they've been on this drive, you wonder how much of the 4:14 here in the second quarter is gone by the time they finish this march. Or the march may go backward. Williams taken down. Through for the sack is Jaron Watson.
And number 24, Jaron Watson, doing a good job getting penetration, running right through the Carlos Betancourt, coming right through that A-gap. And that is a great job, and he's backing this Summit offense up, making this a second down and forever.
They've got to get to, it looks like about the 18-yard line for a first down, so call it second down and 17. They'll say second down and 18 officially in-house. Okay. Williams with 3 wide receivers to the left, trying to set up the screen, flushed backward, he slipped, pump fakes, somehow makes a man miss and gets to the sideline, actually picked up 4 or 5 yards on that play. This kid can do everything.
Man, what an athletic play from just avoiding getting sacked and losing more yardage. Fooled our cameraman as well. So
I don't blame him on that one. How do you not think that's where the ball's going? And so did the Heritage defense. Mark Alonzo says this game is already better than that hot mess of Thursday Night Football last night with the Broncos and Colts. Who are you telling, man? That game was ugly. Williams on 3rd and long on the quarterback draw, makes a man miss, nearly stayed on his feet and got even further, but taken down at the 29-yard line. It's going to be 4th down and about a dozen.
Man, what is Joseph Williams' ankles made out of? I mean, wow.
Yeah.
I have to get my ankles retaped, and I'm up here in the broadcast booth watching him. That cut that he just made to evade pressure. Woof.
Yeah.
What a play.
Timeout here called by Summit prior to what will be 4th and 12. Ball sits on the 32. They'll have to get, I beg your pardon, ball sits at 29. They'll have to get inside the 18, almost to the 17, to pick up the first down. Sarah says, go Emma. There's some comments in the YouTube feed talking about the bands. Julie McElhenney said, cheering for the Midlothian Jaguars. Looking forward to seeing the Bells and Heritage Band at halftime as well. We will bring you the halftime show from the Heritage High School Jaguar Band and the Summit Jaguar Band. As a matter of fact, I was told pregame Heritage's band didn't make the trip, but they do have their drill team and their cheerleaders here, so they'll perform at halftime. And the Summit Jaguar Marching Band, under the direction of Christopher Kanicki, will take the field in 2 minutes and 35 seconds of game time. We will bring you that show in its entirety here in just a little bit. Lauren Callahan says he's tuning in from Linlithgow, Scotland.
That's my guy, Lauren.
He's a regular, my man. He really is.
That's my guy, man. Love Lauren.
4th and a dozen. Quick throw far side. Complete. That's going to be enough to move the chains. They've been trying to find Dorian McDade all through the first half. What a perfect time to find him.
Look at that dart, though. Look at that dart. That is one heck of a throw from your 6'3" quarterback. And when you got size like that and you can throw down over the top of a defense, that thing has some pop to it.
Sneaker Bar in the comments was calling fade route to 11, fade route to 11. It wasn't a fade route, but it was 11, and it does move the chains, and it's 1st and 10 at the 16.
Look at him, he's playing Madden from his living room, calling shots.
What is this, fan-controlled football? Handoff, Burgess right up the gut. Head of steam inside the 10, down inside the 5. It's 1st and goal.
All right, we got to get the ref out of the way here, okay? Burgess is trying to make a move, and he's getting tackled by the ref as well, and Solomon Hopkins.
Paul Crane, our umpire, backpedaling as fast as he can. No.
Crane couldn't get out of the way. I understand, Paul. I'm just making fun.
1st and goal. Handoff Burgess once again. Cuts back in the hole. Leg drive. End zone. Touchdown.
What an answer. What an answer by Mansfield Summit. You turn the ball over, and you get an opportunity on offense, and you know that you have to drive. They opened up with the kickoff that was called back due to the holding penalty. That doesn't deter these guys, and they march from the 20 all the way down here for the score. I have to credit that entire drive to Joseph Williams and he did everything with his legs, but also with his arms, with a great throw to Dorian McDade. And here we are, man. We're one kick away from being all knotted up here in Mansfield.
Abel Ula on for the extra point here. Low snap. They decide to try and pick it up and go for it here. They really didn't have much choice. Throwing it in the end zone. It's picked off. That can be returned for 2 points. Danger zone here. Sir Luke Tante running it back. He should pitch it. He did. And here goes Solomon Hopkins. Solomon Hopkins has the speed. This is going to be 2 points for Midlothian Heritage. Keeping the play alive was Tante, and Hopkins with the house call. A 3-point swing. 2 on the board for Midlothian Heritage.
Sir Luke Tante, you are too much, man. That is just Sir Luke understanding. That is what you call situational awareness.
Yes, sir.
From number 9, Sir Luke Tante, recognizing that he has a guy, and you know what? Hey, man, you take it the rest of the way. I can't. And Solomon Hopkins doing the rest. That's good teamwork right there, guys.
And you said it, situational awareness, understanding, hey, there's nothing bad that can happen here from keeping this ball alive. I suppose theoretically, could Summit recover it and take it back for their 2 points? Yeah, okay, it could happen. Chances are better by keeping the play alive. You're going to go get 2 points as a result, and sure enough, they do. Solomon Hopkins finishing the job off the Sir Luke Tante interception on the PAT, and it's 16-13. Heritage with the lead, as we do have a player down here for Mansfield Summit on the far side 15-yard line. He's surrounded by the Summit training staff. Chris McMahon, Caitlin Harrison, Caitlin Worley out there to tend to him.
That's Devon Soleil. That's down. That's somebody that they can't.
Oh, I think it's Caleb Smith.
Oh, my
left
bad.
guard,
Yeah,
50, not 20. Yeah. But still, to your point, they're starting left guard and an important player.
Sir Luke Tante. Boy, we got names out here on the field. We got Legend Journey, and we have a Sir Luke Tante. What a game, man. What a game.
One of the craziest plays that you will ever see. Sarah in the YouTube comments says, that should make SportsCenter. Give it to you one more time as we await the kickoff. Tante with the interception, nearly gets taken down there, fends off another tackler, breaks another tackle there, being ripped down from behind and says, hey, you do the rest of the job.
Yeah, and for a while, Sir Luke Tante is looking like a locomotive. He's not going to be bogged down, but great awareness and getting it out to Solomon Hopkins, and I like that, man. This is teamwork making it happen.
And that is an important 3-point swing in this football game. What should be 14-all going into halftime, or at least approaching halftime. Certainly still 100 seconds to work with here if Midlothian Heritage wants to go make something happen offensively, but should be 14-14 right now, and looking at Summit getting the football coming out to start the third quarter. Instead, a 3-point Midlothian Heritage lead. That is a huge play in this game. Looks like Summit may have been offside here on the kickoff as the flag flies on the far side 40. The return out to the 36-yard line on the little line drive kickoff from Ulloa.
And that's the thing that you worry about on just PATs when you have your short snapper, and that's what happened. The snap was bad, and they're not able to handle, your holder not able to handle that snap, and then you have guys running out in the coverage that are not used to running out in coverage, and he just throws it, a prayer into an area, and credit Sir Luke Tante for picking that ball off. But that's why special team sessions are so important, because it can win and lose a game for you.
They teach you, especially on a PAT as a kicker, to try and gear down as much and slow down as much as you can, because especially on that, it's a 20-yard field goal attempt essentially. You can just kind of pop it over there if you can give the holder just that extra beat to get the ball down. But they bailed out on it, and obviously the end result was not what Mansfield Summit was hoping for. Quick swing near side here for Tay Jackson, picks up a few.
And I'll tell you what, Tay Jackson is special. He's one of those guys that once he gets the ball in his hand, he's almost certainly going to make the first defender miss. He is that shifty. I've seen that from just the 2 catches that he's had so far.
Hand off here for O'Neal. He's got some space across midfield. Mason O'Neal inside the 35. Foot race inside the 20. Chased down from behind by Derek Jananwa, but not before he takes it all the way down to the 17-yard line.
And Jananwa has to get on his horse to stay with Mason O'Neal, because you could tell, man, Mason O'Neal has some jets once he gets to the outside. And right now, just like that, man, they're already in scoring position.
And with only 23 seconds off the clock since that last score by Mansfield Summit. That was with 1 minute and 40 seconds on the clock that touchdown was scored by Amari Burgess, and of course the 2-point conversion that followed by Tante and Hopkins. 23 seconds later, a quick throw to Tate Jackson, and then Mason O'Neal taking it off the right side, and a huge gain down to the 17-yard line. Officially a 38-yard carry, and it's 1st and 10 here for Midlothian Heritage. Still with 2 timeouts to work with, 1 timeout to work with in the half. And 1 minute 17 on the clock. Brown with the snap, looking near side, single coverage, wide open to Stetson Surratt. Ripped away, good defensive fight from Summit's corner there. Michael Freeman Jr. making a great play on the ball, Heckman.
Yeah, Mike Freeman, he gets lucky, boy, because he pushes him out, and it looks like he got Stetson Surratt on the replay. Looked like he got his right foot down. Obviously, we don't have instant replay in high school, but that would be one that you would want to come back and get another look at.
Second down and 10 as a result. Brown with 4 wides, 2 to either side. O'Neal in the pistol behind him. Fakes it to O'Neal, now throws near side, off target. The throw was rushed as very quickly in the face of Brown was Ross Weaver.
And he has to get off of this ball. Pressure is coming down on, I believe that's Jaden Williams, number 9. Whew, he is like he's shot out of a cannon coming from his Sam linebacker position. And they're just going to continue to apply pressure. If you're Summit, you cannot sit back. They're playing man-to-man, okay? And these are some athletes that they have on the outside, and you can't sit back. You got to try and put some pressure in the face of Caden Brown.
3rd down and 10. No pressure this time. Over the middle, Moten touchdown once again. What a finish to the half for Midlothian Heritage.
You've got to get help when you got number 11 running the post route. It is almost automatic when you got him out there. 6'3", 190 pounds, man. He's just so physical and so fast. It's hard to stay with Xavier Moten.
The 17-yard touchdown pass, extra point, up and through. And it's a 10-point lead for Midlothian Heritage as Caden Brown hits Xavier Moten for the 2nd time today. They lead up by 10 just before halftime on Friday Night Football.
I'm Jason.
And I'm the other Jason. We're the co-hosts of Y'all-itics, the unofficial political podcast of Texas.
So each week we invite on change makers for cold beer and candid conversations into the issues really affecting Texans.
Yeah, and we're bringing in diverse viewpoints so you get to listen and really understand.
This is solid information and a deep dive you're not going to get anywhere else.
Not to brag.
Just to brag a little bit.
Okay, a little. We've been trending and making headlines.
Plus, we have more than 1 million downloads.
And still counting.
Back at R.L. Anderson Stadium in Mansfield. 23-13 now the tally in favor of Midlothian Heritage, the number 6 team in the state in 5A Division II, leading it now by 2 scores thanks to the touchdown pass from Brown to Moten, their second hookup of the day. Please, if you're watching on our YouTube feed, 460 of you right now, click the like button, click the share button. Let us know you're enjoying the broadcast tonight, and let your friends and family in the Midlothian or Mansfield communities, the Texas high school football community as a whole, let them know that they can tune in tonight for a good football game, as that ball was caught on the fly there by McDade. Made a nice play to bring that out across the 35 and set his team up with decent field position here. 2 timeouts and 57 seconds to work with.
I'd say that's a good job. McDade catches a knuckleball, a center fielder. He hits right out there like a shortstop. I mean, he's right there to catch that ball. And man, this is a drive right now for Summit. They've got to try, to regroup at half, make some adjustments if they can't get any scores going into half.
From the 36, Williams, quick throw far side, complete for Soleil. Breaks a tackle, drags the pile across midfield. Good fight from the diminutive Devon Soleil to make a big play out of that one into Heritage territory.
Yeah, Soleil feels like he has some making up to do. Look at this, man. He's got 4 guys he's carrying with him.
It's a 5-yard difference from where he was first contacted to where he eventually got to. Down to 40 seconds and moving here in the first half. Williams, pressure off the edge, steps forward in the pocket. Has a man behind him, didn't see him, and gets taken down for the sack. Tamarick Johnson able to finally corral him.
Yeah, and Tamarick Johnson just spins the block one more time. He passes him on the loop and says, look, man, I'm going to get you one way or another. But that's just Joseph Williams still looking down the field trying to make a big play.
So they do hit their second timeout of the half.
This has been one heck of a game, man. These last 4 minutes of this game has been something else, man. This is just going from the PAT until this point. Goodness. These guys waited right to the end of the half to make the biggest plays. And if something tells me we're not done yet.
Not at all. 29 seconds to work with here for Summit. They feel like they've got field goal range out to about 35 or so they got to be inside the 17, 18-yard line to consider a field goal here at the end of the half. 4 wides here for Williams. Steps forward in the pocket once again. Pressure over the middle, and it's picked off. Intercepted at the 29-yard line. Rylan Figueroa with the pick.
And that's about as easy as it's going to get for Figueroa on the pick for the season, because he's just standing there at his cornerback position, not really doing anything, but the ball comes right to him. I don't believe that Joseph Williams even saw him.
It looked like to Williams, I'm sure, that Soleil was in single coverage streaking across the field with one man on his hip. But there waiting in that open space was Figueroa, the cornerback, and the interception with 24 seconds to play here in the second quarter. Some questions here in the comments about whether or not either of these programs have won state championships. Mansfield Summit did make it to the state semifinals each of the last 2 years. Heritage not yet, but still a new program as they loft this ball up the sideline, and that is complete to Stetson Surratt with 17 seconds left. Caden Brown dropping it in the bucket.
And that's designed the whole way, and that's a crossing route to Surratt. It's right across the man. What a great play.
The Midlothian Heritage coaches are in the booth to our left. They did not like the spot on that play at all. It looked like he was significantly further downfield than where they've spotted it here at the 43. Brown directing traffic, heaving downfield. He's got a man again, in and out of the hands of an open target.
Brown's pass incomplete.
Wow. Like I said, I don't think we're done yet, Mike.
Yeah, this has been a wild finish to the first half. Tay Jackson couldn't squeeze it, and it'll be 2nd down and 10. So again, they've got it spotted at the 43 here. 9 seconds left to play in the first half. I'm just now seeing on the YouTube feed that's a little bit behind. That ball was caught and he was out of bounds at the 37-yard line. So a full 6-yard difference in field position. Quick throw right side, stepping out of bounds is TJ Pride. Give him maybe 2 on the play, 5 seconds to work with. But with a kicker in Dylan Riggins, Heckma, that they feel like has got range out to 50, 52. He said in practice he's hit as deep as 56. Those 6 yards could matter here. Right now where they are, it's a 58-yard field goal. 6 yards closer, you're right there where Riggins says his range is at 52.
I believe we both sat and watched him kick those true from 52. So,
oh, yeah.
Yeah, we know that he can hit it.
5 seconds to work with. Heritage does still have 1 timeout left. 4 wide receivers to the near side. Do they try and get something quick? No, they're going to try and heave it to the end zone. Brown trying to find some time and space, and it's incomplete. Knocked away by Summit's Jordan Hubbard, and that's how the first half will come to an end. It's hard not to wonder what those 6 yards worth of difference might have made in the decision-making process of Eric Edwards there right before the half. Might they have tried to tack 3 more on?
Yeah, I don't understand how they misplaced the spot of that ball. It seemed like it was pretty clear where Stetson Surratt fell out of, went out of bounds. Needless to say, I tell you what, man, Heritage has come out after that first couple minutes of that first quarter. They've made some adjustments, and you got to credit this coaching staff, Coach Eric Edwards' coaching staff, man, because whatever it was, they said, look, we got to get this thing corrected. They've done it, and offensively, they've just been able to pick their spots and nullify that pass rush that they were affected by in that first quarter.
23-6 Midlothian Heritage since that opening touchdown drive from Mansfield Summit to lead it by 10 at halftime. It is halftime here on Friday Night Football, and your halftime show coming your way in just a moment as we'll bring you the Heritage High School and Midlothian and the Mansfield Summit halftime shows here right after this. To the end zone for South Oak Cliff.
Our brand new color commentator, Heckma Harrison. Heckma, welcome to the team.
Man, I'm excited.
Touchdown, Randy Reed.
Next week, we head out west for a huge game in the 3A ranks as defending state champ Brock hosts Whitesboro. Next Friday at 7:30 on the WFAA YouTube channel and WFAA+.
In a world filled with motion, we are the constant. Filled with storms, we are the calm. Filled with uncertainty, we are reassurance. We bring the truth. We bring hope, conviction, a legacy of grit, determination, honesty, and relevant reporting that doesn't just inform, but inspires. We are WFAA.
Hey, I'm Jason.
And I'm the other Jason. We're the co-hosts of Y'all-itics, the unofficial political podcast of Texas.
So each week we invite on change makers for cold beer and candid conversations into the issues really affecting Texans.
Yeah, and we're bringing in diverse viewpoints so you get to listen and really understand.
This is solid information and a deep dive you're not going to get anywhere else.
Not to brag.
Just to brag a little bit.
Okay, a little. We've been trending and making headlines.
Plus, we have more than 1 million downloads.
And still counting.
Meredith Duggins and Haley Hamilton.
As we welcome you back here on Friday Night Football, it is halftime. 23-13, the lead for Midlothian Heritage. The Jaguars leading it courtesy of 2 Caden Brown to Xavier Moten touchdown passes, and they have a 10-point lead. at the brink. But it is time for the halftime show, a small contingent anyway of the Heritage High School Jaguar Band as well as their drill team. On the field now under the direction of Rich Bonner. We hope you enjoy the show.
It's up to the drum line, honestly. Because we're the ones playing off of it.
To the field, the mighty Jaguar Band. The band has been a TMEA Honor Band finalist as well as being recognized as an Outstanding Performer Series Texas State finalist. Leaders of the Jaguar Band are Wind Captain Isaac Jones, Drumline Captain Rain Stallings, Color Guard Captain Tessa Soretta. Tonight, the band will be performing their contest shows, Seasons in Technicolor. They bring you the patriotic fireworks of summer, the brisk autumn air, the sweet snowfall of a winter's evening, and the blooming Technicolor flowers of springtime.
Hey, there you are, Laurie. Where you gonna go? Are you for real? Yeah. Can I come? Hey, where are you going? To my parents. Oh, your parents are here? Yes.
None of my friends are here, and none of my family's here.
Oh, sorry.
The directors of the band are Rich Bonner, Rachel Monday, Jack Emery, Sam Farrell, and Kathy Scarce. The Walnut Grove Middle School directors are Emily Hasso and Sam Farrell. Heritage principal is Peter Madison. Fine Arts director is Holly Thomas. The Mighty Jaguar Band wants to wish the Mansfield Summit marching band a great season and good luck at UIL. They also want to thank their wonderful band parents, the Midlothian ISD administration, and our band alumni. Go Jags!
All right, man, you know how we don't run in uniform, right? After this dance team thing, you need to, like, boogie if we're going to play the whole show. So after the dance team, you need to boogie if we're going to play the whole show. Are you ready for me to tell you that we're not playing the whole show? Thank you.
Our thanks to the Heritage High School Jaguar Band. Next up, the Summit Jaguar Marching Band under the direction of Christopher Kinnicky. We hope you enjoy the show.
Okay, drumline, once you're set, we're going to go. All right.
Summit High School now proudly presents, for your halftime entertainment, the award-winning Sapphire Dance Team. Tonight's performance is dedicated to the Sapphire Teacher of the Week, Senor Carlos Diaz. The Sapphires are led onto the field by Second Lieutenant Alexa Richardson, First Lieutenant Aaliyah Davis, and in the center, wearing the signature blue hat, Captain Kayana Bobo. The Sapphire Social Officers are President Miranda Shaw, Vice President Sidney Powell, Secretary Alea Barron, Treasurer Jacob Baki, Historian Skylar Hankins, and Social Chairman Honor Tribune. The dancer of the week is Ciara Rodriguez. The sapphire of the week is Skylar Hankins. This evening, the Sapphires will be performing a Bob and Sue routine to Funky Town. Now, sit back and enjoy the show. Please welcome to the field, the pride of Summit High School, the Summit Jaguar Marching Band. The Jaguar Band will be performing their 2022 field production entitled The Circle's Edge. The Summit High School Band has been a consistent UIL sweepstakes finalist at marching contests across the DFW area. They've also been finalists at Bands of America contests, most recently being named regional champions in Class 3A. The Summit Band also advanced to the state marching contest last year, placing in the top 20. And last spring, the Summit Band was presented with the Sudler Flag of Honor. This award is given to high school bands throughout the world whose programs exhibit consistent excellence and high achievement year after year.
Hey!
Now, under the field supervision of drum majors Bryant Lee and Alejandro Medrano, Summit High School proudly presents the Jaguar Marching Band.
Nice going, Brad. I just cannot catch it like
Summit Jaguar Marching Band. The directors of the Summit Jaguar Band are Travis Whaley, Beth Hermanson, and Chad Solis. The color guard director is Samantha Sorensen, and color guard technician is Cameron Hewitt. The marching technician is Randy Dean. The principal of Summit High School is Dr. Matt Brown. Director of Fine Arts for the Mansfield Independent School District is Dr. Darwick Johnson, and Assistant Director of Fine Arts is Dr. Chuck Rhodes. The superintendent of the Mansfield ISD is Dr. Kimberly Campton. Sponsoring the Summit Band this year is RTM by Erica Photography. The Summit Band would like to wish the Midlothian Heritage High School Band.
As we welcome you inside the broadcast booth here on Friday Night Football, Mike Leslie and Heckma Harrison back with you. Just about to wrap up halftime. A fantastic show from both schools' bands, and really a fantastic show in the first half in general, Heckma Harrison, from both of these teams. A very tight game.
Yeah, it's just one team, and that's Midlothian Heritage taking advantage of all the miscues from Summit. And, man, this has just been, as much as the score may look one-sided, it has been back and forth.
Yeah, I mean, you take a look at the first half stats and you see just how evenly this game has been played through 24 minutes worth of football. Very even in yards, very even in first downs. They're doing it in different ways. Obviously, Heritage is doing more through the air. Summit's doing more on the ground. But these are two teams that have played a very even half of football, but for a couple of miscues that Heritage has capitalized on, and that's really what has led to the difference in this football game.
Yeah, it really has been the tail of the tape right there. And so for the Jaguars, for Mansfield Summit, they've got to make the adjustments. They have the explosive athletes on offense, and they had things going in that first quarter, and it just seems as though once they had that turnover by Devon Saleh, that made the difference for this Midlothian Heritage squad, which seemed to kind of get their bearings about them and then come down and get a score. But then also on that point after attempt, and can't say enough about Sir Luke Tante and his awareness to get the ball out to his teammate that then took it in for the 2 points. And so that's just been the difference in this ball game, the miscues and just one team being able to take advantage of them.
Yeah, and you make a good point to correct the graphic that we had there at halftime. Not one turnover for Summit, but the two. The fumble by Saleh, then the late interception that was thrown by Joseph Williams there late in the first half. And between those two plays and then, of course, the remarkable play of Sir Luke Tante and Solomon Hopkins on the PAT that wasn't, and the three-point swing that made it 16-13, those three plays really combined to create the scenario that we are dealing with right now. We were about ready to kick it off, and now they're walking both teams off the field. I'm not entirely sure what the delay is. I had a brief moment of concern that somebody was pointing into the distance at lightning, but there's no weather to speak of tonight. I don't believe that's the problem.
No, man, we got clear skies.
Yeah, it's beautiful
here
tonight
in Mansfield, Texas, and man, finally fall weather is starting to take over, man. Mike, we've been out in some just melting conditions. Kids, kids catching cramps. And you think about that first game, it was just calf cramps, hamstring cramps all around. And now I think this weather, we're looking at right at about 70 degrees out here, man. This is just wonderful. 75 here in Mansfield. So.
And clear as could be, so certainly I've got PTSD from nights where we've had thunderstorms in the middle of our broadcast. It's not fun to try and play rain delay theater for forever. I'm really glad that's not what we're dealing with tonight, but when I saw an official point, I went, oh no.
Well, I think Pete has already told you that you had clear skies out here, so I don't know what you're worried about. This guy's never wrong.
Between Pete and my wife, I've got forecasts in every direction, man. I'm never at a loss for a good forecast. Little bobble here on the kickoff return, but it's going to end up working out pretty well here for Mansfield Summit. As coming to the near side was Isaiah Allen. Ripped out of bounds across the 25 at the 28-yard line. And a nice return after he bobbled it there when he first got a handle on it.
Yeah, absolutely. And so I really want to see the adjustments that were made at halftime by this Summit squad. They were in this game. I mean, they had everything going for them. They stopped Midlothian on a fourth down to start the game. They come down behind Joseph Williams and score, opening up, and it looked like they had all the momentum. And then basically things changed just like that. They made the adjustments, and I tell you what, Coach Eric Edwards and his coaching staff really did do a good job there in the second quarter.
On the first play from scrimmage here in the second half, another nice job by this Heritage defensive front, bottling up Jalen Joseph. Nowhere for him to go. Jaron Watson first on the scene.
Yeah, Jaron Watson, he really was one of the guys that got the party started there in the second quarter as well, because he came through with a big-time sack on Joseph Williams and kind of backed those guys up to second and forever. You know, you got guys like that on your defensive front, and also Sir Luke Tante. They've been doing a good job, not only him, but Olasanya has been doing a wonderful job as well. They've been trying to catch him asleep at the wheel a few times, just hadn't happened.
Second down and 10 after no gain on the first play of the second half. Williams with two backs in the backfield with him, fakes it to Amari Burgess, now takes it out the back door, coming near side, cross the 35 and ripped down just shy of first down yardage.
And this is exactly what this Summit squad has to do. You know, they have to get some misdirection going. Their offensive line is physical. And these guys, once they get barreling downhill on you, they can put some gaping holes in this Midlothian defense. But right now, man, they've been scheming them up pretty well, and they've been stopping all the things that they want to do.
3rd down and 2 here. They've got to get right to the 38-yard line to pick up the first down. Spinning his way through the hole and getting just enough is Amari Burgess.
Yeah, he's almost spun into the first down. So, had to do a better job of tackling. And Tamrick Johnson.
Feels like a very important early 3rd quarter possession here for Mansfield Summit. After the end of the 2nd quarter went a little squirrely on them. They need to make something happen here. Pump and go. Now Williams is just going to try and make something happen with his feet, spinning around at the 30-yard line, trying to get to the sideline. All of that, and it's going to end up going down as a loss of about a yard or 2.
You know, and here's the thing, for Joseph Williams, he's still a junior. What you learn is if it's not there, and I know you want to make an athletic play, just throw the ball away. Just throw it away. Live to fight another day. It's fine. It's 2nd down. Be 2nd and 10. You don't have to, give up that much energy just to lose, 4 yards.
Yeah, officially it does go down as a loss of at least 3. They'll say 2nd and 13 here in-house. It's probably 3.5 anyway that he actually lost on the play. And yeah, there were multiple chances there where he could have just thrown the ball away and saved those 3.5 yards. Now pressured again, dances away from it in the backfield, fires downfield, has a man, McDade, just too tall for him. And Olasanya there once again in coverage.
Yeah, Olasanya is confident in his ability, and he continues to go back to the seatbelt saying, look, I got you strapped in, young fella. I'm not going to allow you to make that throw. And look, here's one of the things I think is really confusing to me about this offense for the Mansfield Summit Jaguars is they've gone away from the running game. They've come in now and they're trying to, obviously take the top off of this defense, but they got to go back to the running game.
So now 3rd down and 13. They try and set up the screen and it's intercepted. Tipped and picked off. It's Damian Alexander with the pick, the athletic play from the big defensive tackle.
That is a gift for big Damian Alexander. They're trying to set up screenplay. It's just not gonna allow that to happen. And like I told you before, my defensive coordinator said, if you find yourself unblocked, just stop. They hadn't forgotten about you. And Damian Alexander holds true to that discipline and just undercuts that pass from Joseph Williams. That's a great turn of events, and that's a way to still back the momentum from the first half.
That is a big-time play from a defensive tackle, and here comes Heritage looking far side, complete in the hands of Moten inside the 10 to the 5.
Look at this, back shoulder fade, giving your wide receiver an opportunity to make a play on the ball. And I promise you, they ran that play in practice 100 times.
So after the one-handed pick by Alexander, a quick throw to Moten, and it's 1st and goal inside the 5-yard line. Empty set. Throwing the fade to the far side. Moten hauled it in.
Oh, wow.
That's a big-time grab from Xavier Moten for 6.
Xavier Moten is on fire. Look at the patience. He knows exactly where that ball is going. One hand catch to the pylon. My goodness, what a play for number 11, Xavier Moten. Oh, he is looking down at his hand like, did you see that, coach?
I love what you said there. The patience.
Yes.
To understand, hey, this ball, I know where this ball's going.
I know where it's going.
Not get out over his skis, doesn't need to jump up high. He saw what he had and just let the ball come to him, and it is a 30-13 lead for Midlothian Heritage. One more look at Xavier Moten. Just waiting for it to fall out of the sky to his big left paw. And Midlothian Heritage, what a start to the second half.
Good work. Let's go.
To the end zone for himself, Cliff.
Our brand new color commentator, Heckma Harrison. Heckma, welcome to the team.
Man, I'm excited.
Touchdown, Randy Reed.
Next week, we head out west for a huge game in the 3A ranks as defending state champ Brock hosts Whitesboro. Next Friday at 7:30 on the WFAA YouTube channel and WFAA Plus.
For the third time tonight, Caden Brown to Xavier Moten for the touchdown. And it is a 30-13 lead for the number 6 team in the state of Texas in 5A Division II, the Midlothian Heritage Jaguars.
And they were in 4A last year, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
4A D1.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
I just want to make sure I'm putting this together right, because I tell you what, Caden Brown is so exceptional as a quarterback. That throw to Xavier Moten, man, that is, that's a mini repetition of doing that. And when I mean patience, he's just basically mowing the grass up on his route, staying in his stem, making sure that he keeps his outside arm free. He knows he's going to get back to the outside, and he knows where that ball is going to fall as well.
Yeah. And
that's a wonderful play by the 6'3" receiver. And he is something else right now. He's putting on a show out here in Mansfield.
So now the Summit Jaguars find themselves in a hole. Down 17, still early on here in the third quarter, so plenty of time to do something about it, but they need to get started with that process right here and now as Burgess takes it up the middle here on the first play of the series. You mentioned Midlothian Heritage. Take a look at what they've done to start off this season. A team that did jump up from 4A D1 to 5A D2 this year. They had a coaching change in May. Lee Wigginton went to Allen, so Eric Edwards takes over. No matter, 4 straight wins by 27 plus. And now tonight against a really good Mansfield Summit team that figures to be one of the challengers for a district title, up 17. Amari Burgess trying to do something about it here, breaks a tackle on the outside. He'll have a first down out across the 40-yard line. A nice run by the junior.
Yeah, and the one thing about Summit, we talk about them and what they've been doing in the playoffs over the last couple of years, is that they got to stick to what they're good at. These guys are bruisers. Right? If they can get you into a brawl, you're going to lose versus Mansfield Summit. Finesse is not their game, okay? They want to beat you up in between the tackles and the hash marks, and all this beat that they have up front, they got to go back to that.
Quick throw near side. McDade has the alley on the outside. Nice job by B.J. Thomas to chase him down and keep it from being a bigger gain, but he does pick up 9 on the first play of the set.
Yeah, you see McDade right now just getting out into space. Again, that's another one of those things that they want to do. You have athletes like that, get these guys the ball in space and allow them to do what they do. And that's an easy catch and run for number 11.
A gain of 9 for McDade, 2nd and 1, right at the midfield stripe. Now a flag just before the snap. It's going to be a false start.
And just little things like that. When you come up against a ranked opponent like Midlothian, that's going to take advantage of every mistake you make. You know, you get a penalty or you fumble the ball, they're going to make you pay for it. So you have to play error-free. And I think this is a great lesson for Coach Hall's squad.
Burgess up the middle trying to earn those penalty yards back. He does exactly that, gets right back to the 50-yard line. I think something to keep an eye on here in this second half, Heckma, with how much they need to run the football, as now a player is down here for Midlothian Heritage in the offensive backfield. That's Tamarick Johnson, the junior defensive end. So he's dealing with an injury right now, holding his right arm. But what I was about to point out, Caleb Smith, the starting left guard for Mansfield Summit, a very important player for this Summit Jaguars offense, got hurt in that first half, has not returned. Right now they have Aiden Lopez de la Cruz out there in that left guard spot. You wonder how that may impact this offensive line and how they work as a unit, not having one of their most important players. As that ball goes over the head of Joseph Williams, he's able to scramble back on top of it. He's got to throw this ball away. He's able to make a man miss, coming to the near sideline. He ultimately does go down out of bounds for a big loss on the play, but a good job to avoid a complete disaster by Joseph Williams.
Yeah, I mean, and he has to be Harry Houdini to get out of all this pressure. And like you said, what you want him to do is just throw the ball away. It's okay. You know, you don't have to. He's running 50 yards just to make up for a negative play. You know, if you just throw that ball away, it's okay to get out of that. And you know, fortunately, there wasn't. You know, the play wasn't as disastrous as it could have been. So fortunate to be able to get this thing punted off. But hey, the bad news is you put Jaden Brown back on the field.
End over end punt. Fielded and muffed right at the 26-yard line, and Summit's got a great chance to get on top of that. They had 5 of the 6 guys there, and it is Summit football. The break they have needed right there.
Absolutely. That is a team that needed. Man, that is the break that they needed, Mike Leslie. You said it.
Huge, huge play as the punt is muffed, recovered by Mansfield Summit's Arthur McDonald, and it's 1st and 10 Jaguars at the 26 in Heritage territory.
Well, what that does is that keeps Caden Brown over here on the sideline drinking Gatorade, so they will take it.
Shannon Hall's a big fan of that reality. Handoff Burgess right up the gut. Burgess with a head of steam into the second level. Taken down at the 12, but a nice run there by Amari Burgess.
Yeah, they need that from Burgess. And look at them getting their big guys. I've been talking about this guy, Jalen Cavill. Yeah, Jalen Cavill. Anytime he comes pulling around that tackle, he's going to put a guy on his back. This kid is huge, man. I'm so impressed with his size.
Shannon Hall didn't have the exact figures, but he said, I'm pretty sure he's going to end up starting the most games in program history, because he's been a key piece, a 3-year starter for them, and obviously deep runs each of the last 2 years. This, though, a nice defensive play by Heritage.
Yeah, Cavill just looks like one of those guys that he just looks impressive right off the bus. You know, if you're just sitting right there at the bus, and when number 56 gets off, you're like, oh, he's a ball player.
Yep. Ryan Satterwhite with the nice tackle there, a loss of 3 on the first play of the set, so 2nd down and 13. They can get a 1st down without scoring a touchdown here. Williams running right, undercut. Figueroa with the tackle.
And here's where big 3rd downs have not been a friend. You know, they got to come up with something big. They're down here in the red zone, and ask yourself, will they go for 3? Will they kick a field goal after having the muffed snap? Or will they go for it on 4th down if it calls for it?
They are within range, but one of the assistants told me earlier today, unless we're down 2 and it's for the win and it's within range, we're going for it on 4th down. This time they don't need to worry about it. Wide open in the end zone is Burgess for 6. Summit with a huge sequence right there.
And you look at Burgess on the wheel route. He raises his hand. He knows there's no one out there with him. He burns the linebacker. Noah O'Neal, the inside backer, is supposed to be tracking him to that side, but Amari Burgess does good work. Let's see how easy is it going to be for this PAT.
You saw the issues they had earlier in the first half, but this time the snap is on target. Hold is down, kick is up and through. And it's 30-20 now.
Okay.
Mansfield Summit taking advantage of the muffed punt and the touchdown hookup from Williams to Burgess. And it's a 10-point game here in the 3rd quarter.
Hey, I'm Jason. And I'm the other Jason. We're the co-hosts of Y'all-itics, the unofficial political podcast of Texas.
So each week we invite on change makers for cold beer and candid conversations into the issues really affecting Texans.
Yeah, and we're bringing in diverse viewpoints so you get to listen and really understand.
This is solid information and a deep dive you're not going to get anywhere else.
Not to brag,
just to brag a little bit.
Okay, a little. We've been trending and making headlines.
Plus, we have more than 1 million downloads.
And still counting.
We've seen 3 touchdowns scored in this football game by Mansfield Summit. Joseph Williams or Amari Burgess have been involved in all 3. Williams with a 22-yard touchdown run to open the scoring tonight. Burgess with a 3-yard touchdown run in the second quarter. Now they hook up for a passing score. And Mansfield Summit still very much in this football game, Heckma Harrison, after a key sequence.
Yeah, they needed that muff punt. They needed something to go their way because I'm telling you, out of halftime, it seemed like Midlothian, their defense just clamped down. Once they had to come back out on the field, I don't know, the light bulb just must have come on for Joseph Williams because, look, man, they got things going and hitting Burgess on that wheel route on that big-time 3rd down. Oh, that's a great possession for Mansfield.
The rolling kickoff there from Summit.
But the problem is, Mike, Caden Brown's back on the field.
The way he has played tonight, he has made some throws that have been sensational.
Yeah, that's an understatement. I mean,
yeah.
That ball that he threw to Xavier Moten, that's probably one of the best highlight throws that I've seen all year. And we have seen some really good quarterbacks this season.
He takes over once again, 1st and 10 at his own 32-yard line. And he'll take off with it with his feet this time. Couldn't quite escape the grasp of Christian Jones, the sophomore middle linebacker, but he does pick up 5 on the first play of the series.
How about that? Christian Jones, number 33, a sophomore, 5'9", 210 pounds, a short tackler. They call him a young pup, but although he's still a baby, very solid tackler for this Mansfield Summit defense.
Flag prior to the snap. That's going to be a false start, and they're going to give those 5 yards right back.
I'm telling you, for the Summit defense, they've just got to get back to being as physical as they were in that first quarter. I mean, in that first quarter, they had this offense out of sorts. They were coming off the edges. They were putting pressure into the face of Caden Brown.
Near side throw dropped. Ryan Kosa had a chance at it and just let it clang off his chest.
And that's how they get him in those little quick throws. Caden Brown makes those little 5-yard dink and dunk passes, and then once he gets you to fall asleep, he goes right over the top. We saw TJ Pride was really the guy that he started adding the seasoning with TJ Pride, and then all of a sudden, he turned up the heat with Xavier Moten.
5 wide set here for Brown on 3rd and 10. Big chance for Summit. Can they get their defense off the field? Up the seam, wide open. It's Moten behind the defense. A foot race, he will not be caught. That's number 4 of the day from Brown to Moten. This one goes 68.
How can you lose track of Xavier Moten? That has to be a miscommunication in the coverage where you leave number 11 by himself, and he was so wide open, the turf monster tried to tackle him, and he still was able to gain his footing. Man, what a display by number 11, Xavier Moten.
You said it, though. You can't let, of all players, Xavier Moten run free.
No.
A 68-yard touchdown hookup, the 4th of the day between the senior Caden Brown and the senior Xavier Moten. They sent the house. Brown saw it, found his hot read up the seam, and Moten clear to pay dirt. 37-20 Heritage, mid-third. To the end zone for South Oak Cliff.
Our brand new color commentator, Heckma Harrison. Heckma, welcome to the team.
Man, I'm excited.
Touchdown, Randy Reed.
Next week, we head out west for a huge game in the 3A ranks as defending state champ Brock hosts Whitesboro. Next Friday at 7:30 on the WFAA YouTube channel and WFAA Plus. (37-20), Midlothian Heritage with the lead.
Caden Brown and Xavier Moten have hooked up 5 times tonight for 126 yards in total. 4 of those 5 completions going for touchdowns. The longest of them right there from 68 yards away, and it's 37-20. Midlothian Heritage with the lead. The line drive kickoff through the end zone and over the head of Isaiah Allen, and back comes this Summit Jaguars offense. Heck, man, it's hard not to feel like if you're Summit, you were thinking there for a moment like, hey, all right, we got something building here. We got 3rd down and 10. Let's go get the quarterback. Let's get off the field. Here comes the comeback. And boom, right over the top, Brown to Moten again, and it's a 17-point game just like that.
Caden Brown says, hold my Gatorade. That's all he said. Hold my Gatorade. I'm going back in here. Xavier, you ready? You know, these guys are just, they don't have to even use whatever communicate. They don't have to talk, man. These guys are just looking at each other and do that, man. That is awesome. You cannot lose track of number 11.
Quick throw far side over the head of one defender, but just a bit low for the intended target, Isaiah Allen, and incomplete.
And this is the thing. When you're down by 17 points for Summit, what they can't afford to do is go 3 and out. Okay, they can't put their defense back in a situation where these guys get back on the field. They've got to continue to stay with their game plan. And what happens to teams when you get down like this, you start to press. You want to try and take the top off. You want to start trying to get the big plays, make this things up really quickly. Keep running the ball.
Burgess bobbled the pitch. It goes out of bounds for him, but not before they lose a big chunk of yardage here. It has been, we've seen moments like that throughout this football game for Mansfield Summit offensively, on special teams. Sloppiness with the football has been a real problem for them tonight.
No, it really has. You know, and again, I don't want to, you know, say they're contributing to anything, because it's not like this Midlothian defense is putting a lot of pressure on them. It's just, you know, errors. It's all self-inflicted.
So now 3rd down and 14. Williams coming near side, too tall, intended for McDade, and it's 4th down.
Yeah, that's what you did not want to have happen. And here's where you find yourself in some murky water, right? Mm-hmm. You let Caden Brown in this offense come back out on the field. Your defense these guys hadn't been over there resting but maybe a minute and a half, maybe, you know. So they've got to be tired. They've got to, I mean, that was a drive that may have taken it out of them. And now they find themselves back out on the field.
45 seconds went off the clock. Fair catch called for and made by TJ Pride. They scored with 4:14 on the clock here in the 3rd quarter. Now 50 seconds later, right back on the field comes Caden Brown and this Heritage Jaguars offense.
And you know, Caden Brown is cold-blooded, man. He is a cold-blooded guy, and as a senior quarterback, he's been here before, and he wants to deliver the death blow.
They'll take over at their own 45-yard line. Brown fakes the pitch and then right in the face of Mario White, had nowhere to go. Nice job by the junior White to make a solid tackle.
Yeah, and that's a ball fake. You see from Caden Brown trying to fake him out. The White is going to maintain, contain, and get the sack.
Summit really feels like they've got a defensive front that is very dangerous with Mario White, Legend Journey, Broderick Stewart, Travis Buhaki, William Billings. They got some dudes up there that can really make some plays. They need a stop right now, Heckma, in the worst way. Play action fake, throw over the middle. TJ Pride in stride, 1st down and then some on the slant.
That just shows everything that they do, man. They're catching this ball, and the way that Caden Brown puts, it's almost like he's just putting a smelly sticker on these guys, you know, for good job, and just making it where these guys are catching the ball in motion, and they don't have to stop. They don't have to come back for it.
1st and 10 at the 40-yard line now in Summit territory. Oh, knocked away. Legend Journey got his big paw up there for the 2nd time tonight.
Yeah, man, He heard me say something about smelly stickers. He said, look, I ain't going to have another one. I've been impressed with just the specimens that they have on this Mansfield Summit defense. This kid, number 78, Broderick Stewart, I'm telling you, I just know his parents have a Costco bill that is out of this world. It's a lot of bread and eggs being bought for number 78. Goodness, that's a big kid.
Another play action fake. They go for Pride again, just a bit too deep.
Brown's pass incomplete.
Trying to put it out there. You can tell, man, they are not trying to go with a conservative game plan. 2 minutes left here in the third quarter. They are still trying to pile it on.
Third down and 10. Again, field goal range for Heritage is probably only another 5 yards away. They feel like 52 and in for Dylan Riggins is reasonable. So they could look at that as well. This is not helping that cause. Caden Brown chased way backward. Incomplete. Out of bounds was TJ Pride when he made the catch. It'll be 4th and 10.
4th and 10. What's going to be the decision here?
TJ Pride the intended target. 4th down.
It's like we got the punt team coming on.
I'm fairly sure this is the first time today that we've seen the punt unit come on for Midlothian Heritage. Jason Barella, their usual punter, but again, he's out today, so Tay Jackson, the recently eligible wide receiver and running back, taking over those punt duties. Line drive, end over end punt, fielded at the 10-yard line. Some room to work here for Michael Freeman. Cuts back near side. Michael Freeman across the 40. Freeman up the sideline. Chased from behind. Finally taken down, but not before he gets into Midlothian Heritage territory.
Man, it looked like Michael Freeman is just gliding. Look at the way that I know he's a long strider, but he is so just, the way that he runs, he's moving fast, but man,
just effortless.
It is effortless. He is gliding. And Mansfield finds themselves with some great field position.
Freeman, the junior defensive back for Mansfield Summit. I'm thinking, hey, Shannon Hall, throw him on the offensive side of the ball a little bit. Handoff Burgess. Switches the ball to the outside hand. Cuts across the 35, inside the 30, and a first down carry there from Burgess.
Burgess loses his shoe somewhere on this field. He's probably looking for it.
His quarterback had it.
Yeah. And
he was running in a pink sock for about 10 yards there.
He really was. He really was.
He's going to have to come off for a play here because he's not going to be able to get that tied up before the play clock expires. They bring Jalen Joseph on for the snap. 1st and 10, 90 seconds to work with here in the third quarter, so still a lot of time. Summit trying to make something happen here. Williams backpedaling, trouble, somehow made a man miss and got to the sideline, run out of bounds, and they are going to throw a flag for a late hit here on the Midlothian Heritage defense.
Yeah, that's a bad play, okay? That's a bad play, and I understand Joseph Williams is a handful, but he's out of bounds right there.
Yeah. Damian Alexander was the one who came through and laid the hit on him. He was definitely in that white chalk by a good bit. And more to the point, was very clearly going out of bounds. The play was coming to an end. That's a situation where you really want to see a kid hold back and not make that play. He gets hit with the 15-yard penalty as a result. It's going to be 1st and 10 for Summit. We'll see exactly where the ultimate spot of the football is. It looks like they had Williams out of bounds at the 30, so it looks like it's going to be 1st and 10 at the 15.
And this is one of those older stadiums, so the sideline isn't as long, and that's the danger zone that you get into because there isn't a track out there. You got the wall that these kids can run into. So fortunately, there were bodies over there to stop him from hitting the wall, but here we are again, Mansfield knocking on the door of a score.
A score that they do desperately need here late in the third quarter, but if they're able to get it, would tighten things up substantially going into the final frame. 1st and 10 at the 15. Pump faked on it for a moment, now throws it far side. Allen taken down, ball's out. Heritage football. Once again, the Jaguar defense makes a play.
And look at this. This is just getting the hat on the ball. Solid tackle. Nothing special. It's just getting that helmet on the ball. The ball comes out.
The recovery for B.J. Thomas. If we could get one more look at that. Watch the tackle, as you just pointed out, Heckma. Helmet right on the football. That's Rylan Figueroa putting his hat on the ball and knocking it free. We saw them do that to Devon Soleil in the first half, and the Heritage defense does it again here in a huge spot late in the 3rd.
Oh, that's a tough break for the Summit offense that needed points right there on that drive.
Flags at the snap. They're going to say false start against Heritage. Caden Brown trying to argue that that was against Summit's defense, but the penalty will back them up 5. It'll be 1st and 15 from the 5 now.
And sometimes you need your defense to make a play, you know, and these guys have had their breakdowns in communication and have allowed Xavier Moten to run free. But maybe right now, this is the time where you could come up with a strip sack fumble or a big time interception.
Low snap. Somehow they get it off, though, to Mason O'Neal. And look at Mason O'Neal weaving his way into the 2nd level, and that's a 1st down carry on what was 1st and 15.
Man, you want to ask yourself, you know, what would happen, you know, with Jason Barella being out? How would this team be able to manufacture yards on the ground? And Mason O'Neal is doing a wonderful job. We saw him break off a long one earlier in this game.
He's having no issues whatsoever picking up big chunks of yards. Barella's been out for a couple weeks now, and O'Neal's been doing a great job. Over 460 yards and 5 touchdowns on the year. Now they throw near side for Surratt, and look at Stetson Surratt with the speed. Inside the 20, will not be caught. 73 yards for Stetson Surratt on the catch and run, and Heritage is pulling away.
Stetson Surratt with the jetpack. Look at this, Mike. He catches this ball. He gets around some defenders, and he says, well, wait a minute. You guys are not running as fast as I am. I'm going to go ahead and walk the dog. Not interested in a short little gain to get out of bounds. It's number 7, Stetson Surratt.
The moment he got to the corner and got around Summit's defender, Michael Oladimeji. Watch it again right here.
And he's just moving.
He makes this move right here, gets to the corner, beats him to the edge, and then it is all foot race. And Stetson Surratt in a foot race wins. 44-20, late 3rd. Heritage, the number 6 team in the state, in control.
Hey, I'm Jason. And I'm the other Jason. We're the co-hosts of Y'all-itics, the unofficial political podcast of Texas.
So each week we invite on change makers for cold beer and candid conversations into the issues really affecting Texans.
Yeah, and we're bringing in diverse viewpoints so you get to listen and really understand.
This is solid information and a deep dive you're not going to get anywhere else.
Not to brag,
but just to brag a little bit.
Okay, a little. We've been trending and making headlines.
Plus, we have more than 1 million downloads.
And still counting.
Reagan's to kick off, go Heritage.
73 yards from Caden Brown to Stetson Surratt, the 5th touchdown pass of the night for Caden Brown, and it is 44-20. Midlothian Heritage, how quickly that sequence turned on a dime, Heckma Harrison.
Man, Stetson Surratt is just, man, we know he's as sure-handed as anyone out here on the field, but didn't know he had jets like that. Once he made that first defender miss, He saw where the rest of those guys were, and he said, I am going to walk this sideline all the way to the end zone, and there was no one that got a hand on him. If Stetson Surratt if we were playing flag football, no one would have been able to touch his flag, okay? That's called running away with it.
Yep. Isaiah Allen not able to do much there on the return as the Heritage coverage team was all over him. Ball only gets out to the 10-yard line, and that's where Summit will take over. Caden Brown now on the night. 16 of 28 for 345 yards and 5 touchdowns.
What a game. Man, Caden Brown is special. That's a special night.
Moten 5 for 126 and 4 of those 5 touchdowns. Surratt 4 for 119 and the other TD. Running right side, but getting strung out by this defense. Once again, it's Olasanya with the tackle.
Yeah, Olasanya's had himself a night. He really has. I mean, it's just not only in pass D, but also making tackles at the line of scrimmage, man. This kid is just doing it all.
Midlothian Heritage. Not only lookout 5-5A D2, how about all of 5A D2? These dudes can go. 44-20 as we head to the 4th on Friday Night Football.
Division 2030 strategic plan.
To the end zone for South Oak Cliff.
Our brand new color commentator, Heckma Harrison. Heckma, welcome to the team.
Man, I'm excited.
Touchdown, Randy Reese.
Next week, we head out west for a huge game in the 3A ranks as defending state champ Brock hosts Whitesboro. Next Friday at 7:30 on the WFAA YouTube channel and WFAA Plus.
Heckma Harrison, we saw this Midlothian Heritage team a few weeks ago in the season opener against Stephenville. Their only loss of the year, 49-42. I was talking with Caden Brown before the game. He said we had some things we had to get figured out from that first week, but they did.
Yeah.
They did. They figured some stuff out, and they've got it rolling right now.
I don't know what those things were that they needed to figure out, and I think we both did. We've called a few other games up until this point, and I'm telling you, I'm looking at a completely different squad than the one that we saw in week 1. Just the explosive plays, really. Some of these guys really, I mean, number 11, Xavier Moten, man, he is big time. He is big time, and Stetson Surratt, and that's his explosion and his pop is amazing. His ability, you know, look at here, it's a state triple jump. You know, so you know he has some athleticism. But that speed on that last play, man, it says it all. And I'm telling you, like we called the first game, and this looks like night and day different squad from what we saw. And not to take anything away from Stephenville either, they're awesome.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
Yeah.
Barring a massive comeback here in the 4th quarter by Summit, you're looking at a Midlothian Heritage team that's about to go to 5-1. They've won their last 4 games by 27+. They're up 24 right now. Deep ball for McDade, but overshot him. And out of bounds, it'll be 4th down and 14. About to go to 3-0 in district play. Looking ahead on their schedule. Big one against Ennis at home next week. And then probably their biggest game remaining on the schedule at Everman in the season finale. Depending on how Everman handles Mansfield Summit, that might be 2 teams that are unbeaten in district, because Everman has already beaten Ennis. So they've already got 1 big win under their belts within district play. So that Heritage Everman game on November the 4th could be rather important. Line drive punt. The TJ Pride says get away from it.
Oh, the matchmakers, boy, they sure know how to put those good games together. That's the last one. All the implications are going to be on that game. But I got to say this right now. Don't you count this Mansfield Summit team out. because they have some guys on this team. They're a young team, but their quarterback, Joseph Williams, is outstanding. And he's one of those players that, look, if he can stay ahead of the count, ahead of the chains, doesn't have to play from behind, his defense can make some plays for him. I'm telling you, this is a young guy that's going to be really, really good. And so I know that they're going to do some great things in this division.
Deep shot there for Tay Jackson, just misses for Caden Brown. They're up 44-20 early on in the fourth, and they come out 5 wide on 1st and 10. I love it.
Everybody's trying to get in on the act, okay? You got a senior that's been out of commission, and Tay Jackson's like, look, I need to get in on this. Everybody has touched the ball, gotten a touchdown. It's my turn.
Pistol this time for Caden Brown with Mason O'Neal directly behind him. Give the handoff for O'Neal. Nice tackle, knifing through is Jaden Williams. No gain on the play.
Like I said, you cannot count this team out. Defensively, they've got some studs over there. They've got some big guys. They've had some miscues. They've had some turnovers, some fumbles.
The thing, yeah.
And that has what really, and that kills your defense. I don't care how good of a defense is. If you're going 3 and out, putting those guys right back out there, what'd you say? They took 45 seconds off the clock?
Deep shot once again up the seam, but too far out in front of Xavier Moten, and it's 4th down. Now,
they got lucky right there, boy. They got lucky right there. Caden Brown throws that ball a little bit more to that hash mark.
He's holding his arm, though, as he walks off the field.
It's 4th down.
He's not anymore. He finally, but he was kind of like holding his forearm there for a moment.
Yeah.
That is the last thing that Midlothian Heritage wants to see.
Well, nobody's paying attention to him. Trainers are over there. He's all right.
Riggins out to punt it away this time. Fielded at the 12. Freeman again trying to make a play, gets hammered from behind. Honestly, did a good job just to keep a hold of that football. You can see he's dangerous when he's got the ball in his hands. Nearly broke away again. If not for the contact from behind, who knows?
I got whiplash just watching that play, man. Wow, that's pressure from behind. My goodness, that's tough. As Kate Brown stands up over on the sideline, maybe more than his arm. I see him checking, looking at his knee.
He's getting at least a cursory glance from the athletic training staff. 1st and 10, handoff, nowhere to go. Burgess was on the carry, but very quickly on the scene for Heritage was Maxim Newton.
Yeah, defensively, they've seen these plays. And so once you run them a few times and they know where you're trying to go with it, they just read it perfectly. And you got to give some credit also to this Midlothian defense. They played solid.
Williams flush near side, still looking downfield, and then gets hammered. Did throw it away there right at the very end. Threw it right at the 2nd down marker, so pretty clearly did get the throw back to the line of scrimmage, only just barely, but he did. No flag flies there for grounding.
His eyes are up the field, and he doesn't even see B.J. Thomas coming down on him. That's dangerous, for your quarterback when you're not seeing the field, and especially not seeing a defender that's point blank on you.
Sets up 3rd down and 10. 10:02 to play here in the 4th. Summit down 3 scores and needing to make something happen here real quick. Handoff Burgess. Nice cut. Dragging tacklers. He's going to have enough for the 1st down. Really nice run by Amari Burgess.
And that was all Amari Burgess on that drive. Got a read option. He's weaving in and out of defenders. Got to credit Summit, man. They're still blocking them up.
Fresh 1st and 10 out at the 33-yard line now. Both teams still with 3 timeouts. Richard Glenn in the comments says he went to Burleson High School but lived in Fort Worth, 1 mile from Everman. Burgess with the handoff. Picks up 2 or 3. Do stick with us on WFAA tonight at 10 o'clock as part of the 10 o'clock news. Coming up in about a half an hour's time, we will have high school game night. News starts at 10. Game night starts about 10:15. Joe Trahan's at the Argyle Lake Dallas game tonight. Jonah Javon at a big game, Burleson Centennial and Denton Ryan. That's a game I want to go see if I can get a score update on, because I thought there was a real chance that Burleson Centennial could pull the upset. They lead 20-16 in the fourth quarter of that football game. It's at Burleson Centennial. That is an interesting game to keep an eye on here over the course of the balance of the night. Williams stepping up in the pocket and taken down. Maybe lost a yard on the play. It'll be 3rd down.
Boy, Burleson Centennial, they're able to pull that one off. What an upset that'll be.
They're a really good football team. If you look at the computer rankings that don't care about legacy and history and pedigree and all that, they had Centennial as like a 10-point favorite in that game. They are really, really talented. Now it says 23-16 in the fourth quarter. Burleson Centennial with the lead. Deep shot here for Williams, just beyond the outstretched fingertips of Dorian McDade. Nearly a house call.
Oh, they needed that catch from McDade. Just something to feel better about yourself. If you're Coach Hall's group, played their hearts out, man, but you just run up against a team that is clicking on all cylinders, and it's really hard to overcome some of the mistakes that you've made tonight, and just also Caden Brown.
Mm-hmm.
You know, this is wow. I think they need to just take Caden Brown's helmet away from him, man, and just let him call it a night.
The punt is away. Initially, Jackson waved everybody away from it. Then he decided to go scoop it up after he saw where it bounced. Gets it out to the 42-yard line.
No, and Caden Brown is back in the game.
7:46 to play here in the fourth. Honestly, I'm a little bit surprised that Summit punted the football there, because at this point, do you really have the option to? But they do kick it back to Caden Brown in this Heritage offense.
But this is a young squad. This Summit squad, they got some young talent. Yeah, a sophomore middle linebacker. Hey, this kid, Legend Journey, got another year to call his name. Mario White, he's a junior.
Sam Hopkins on the carry there on first down. Gain of 8 on the play. Yeah, there's definitely talent on this Summit team. And to your point earlier, this is a young group. There's a lot of juniors that are in key spots for this football team. As this season continues along, they are going to understand more and more what Shannon Hall said to us earlier this week. The standard is the standard. He said a lot of these guys last year were sophomores. They were impact players for us, but they didn't have to be the guy.
Right.
Now they got to be the guy and make those plays week in and week out on Friday nights. That's a different expectation and is harder to do.
Yeah.
But you can see the talent is there. As they start to figure that out throughout the course of this season, this team is going to get better, and certainly you got to imagine next year for this team as well, when a lot of these kids are now seasoned veteran senior football players. This could be right back where they were the last 2 years, honestly.
No, and it will be. And it will be. And hey, this Friday Night Light stuff, it really is, it means something. And so when you get to this level, especially if you've been playing on JV.
Look at Mason O'Neal breaking tackles into the secondary and picks up the first down on 3rd and 4.
Yeah, if you've been playing on JV and you finally get to the varsity level and you see the way that these guys, you know, you're out here with some legit athletes. Xavier Moten, these guys are for real. I mean, and when you get out here, it doesn't matter what level you play at, you're going to have to raise your level of play, and you're definitely going to have to be disciplined. And so you set the standard for that, and again, these young guys, I do expect for this Mansfield team to be better, not only next year, but at the end of this year. These guys are not going to give up on the season.
Trouble here as he faked the handoff to O'Neal, but good job by Caden Brown to evade it all and get out across the line of scrimmage. The Heritage crowd wanted a flag there for a little extracurriculars at the end, but
well,
no laundry to be spoken of.
I will tell you this. They have let these guys play. Now, I've seen a ton of holding penalties that they've let go. You know, they're just not letting them, the personal fouls, not allowing that, but they have let these guys play.
2nd down and 8. It would appear, Heckma Harrison, that Burleson Centennial is about to pull the upset on Denton Ryan. Quick throw near side for Moten, incomplete.
That's a major upset.
Denton Ryan, a program that won a state title a couple of years ago in 5A D1. Always talented as could be. It does look like possibly that Ryan may have had their starting quarterback knocked from the football game. So that's a factor, of course. Again, highlights of that game. Yeah, Callan Davis, the starting quarterback for Denton Ryan, threw only 2 passes all night tonight.
Yeah, there's something
so that is an interesting piece of the puzzle there. 3rd down and 8, up the seam for Moten again with a jump ball, and just a bit too tall there in coverage was Michael Freeman.
Finally, I'm sure Michael Freeman is like, finally. A ball goes up intended for you and you don't score a touchdown.
Shout out to Jason Joseph, a Channel 8 employee, our esteemed weather producer, watching the game tonight with his wife, who's a teacher at Midlothian Heritage.
Okay.
Appreciate you tuning in, Jason. Hopefully Delkus isn't working you too hard tonight. 4th down and 8, and Heritage will punt it away once again. Riggins again on to punt it high into the Mansfield sky. Checks up at the 6-yard line and bounces all the way out to the 16 before they can finally get a hand on it.
Tell you what, me and my family, we're so guilty of watching Channel 8. First thing, I mean, the morning crew, we literally wake up to these guys every single morning. Every morning, doesn't matter, to Shar Parker, for traffic, Greg Fields, weather. We watch these guys religiously every morning. I feel like I know them. Okay, yep. Okay, I'm here with you, but if Greg Fields walks in here, I might faint. I might faint. It's like, I know you. You're a part of my family.
Well, we need to hook that up somewhere along the way. We need to make something like that happen over the course of the balance of the season.
I'm having my coffee, and Greg Fields is telling me what the temperature's going to be. I have to keep up with this guy, man.
Off the punt, 1st and 10 here for Summit. Burgess with the handoff. Stutter step to the outside and a pickup of about 6.
Yeah, this is one of those games, man. You just, when you go back to the tape, you turn it on, you try and figure out what's going on, what happened, you know, for Mansfield Summit. They're going to ask that. They're going to have film study on this game, and they'll look at this rebroadcast, and they'll see plenty of opportunity that they let slip through their fingers. And what I wish that I could just say to these guys, you're tough, man. This is a tough ball club, and they got a good thing going. They're not physical, but fix some of those small errors that you're making. You know,
nearly intercepted there.
And the same for Joseph Williams. You know, fix your ball control. Fix, you know, being more sound and secure with the ball. You know, not making errors like that, because – you know, things like that will definitely get you beat. It won't allow you to advance far in the playoffs. When you come up against a team like Midlothian Heritage that's solid, this is a well-coached team, and Coach Hall, their squad is well-coached as well, you know, but they hadn't been making those bonehead penalties. You don't see them, you know, fighting and doing things like that. Those are just teams that you see that are undisciplined. Right. These guys right now, they just ran up against a better team. But you got to learn how to match that intensity when you see it. So they'll get there.
And there's a very reasonable chance that these two teams are seeing each other again come playoff time. Whew. Two teams that within this region certainly have a chance to make a run, so this may not be the only time that these two teams see each other this year.
And if they do, please make sure you put somebody on number 11, Xavier Moten. Okay? Don't have another play where you forget to have somebody on him, no matter what you do.
Yeah, there's something to that.
Yeah.
Fourth down and a yard here. They've got to get out to the 32 to pick up the first. I bet you're probably the 27 to pick up the first. Williams is going to keep it himself. He's got it. Scoots out of bounds at the 30-yard line. Take a look at the district standings within 5-5A Division II. You see Heritage there at 2-0. You can go ahead and put a 3 in that win column. Summit was 2-0. Everman 2-0 coming into the night. I'll see if I can find a score for that game as well. Those top 5 you see there through Ennis and Seguin, that figures to be 4 of those 5 will be your playoff teams within this district. Everman and Seguin will probably have to fight that out. Probably along with this Mansfield Summit team, in fact. Williams just running for his life out there. Finally throws it away far sideline. It'll be 2nd and 10.
Yeah, this is a hard-fought game. It really has been. There's going to be some players that's going to need a nice bath after this one.
Everman finding themselves in a dogfight with Seguin right now. 34-28, Everman with the lead in the fourth quarter.
Oof, that is a dogfight.
This is a deep district. There are a lot of good football teams within 5-5A D2. These two among them. 2nd down and 10. Williams stepping up, looking deep. Not on the same page there with his intended target, Jeremiah Barriner. Seguin has the football in that one, down 6 in the fourth quarter. They are in Everman territory, so that would be quite the result within that district that might shake things up.
It sure would. It'd make things a lot more interesting if they're able to knock off Everman, man. That would ruin your that last game formula that you were cooking up there.
That's right. Williams trying to make a man miss in space, instead just lowers his shoulder and runs right through him to get the ball out to the 31-yard line. But it will be 4th down, 4th and 5 upcoming here for Mansfield Summit. Under 4 minutes to play here in the fourth. Again, stick around with us on high school game night at 10:15 tonight on as part of the WFAA 10 o'clock news. We'll have highlights of this game, highlights of Joe Trahan's game where he's at Argyle and Lake Dallas tonight, and certainly highlights of Jonah Javad's game tonight. One of the biggest results of the evening, Burleson Centennial at the very least leading 23-16 in the fourth against Denton Ryan. I believe that game may have gone final. Fair catch called for and made at the 36-yard line by TJ Pride.
They still have their starters out there. Boy, they are not letting up. They are not letting up at all.
Yeah, honestly, it didn't surprise me until basically now. I think now with 3:12 on the clock, the result is pretty well secured. If you had given up a quick TD, all of a sudden it's a 2-score game. You don't want to play that game if there's still 7-8 minutes on the clock.
Yeah.
At this point, I think you probably would be safe to go ahead and put a few backups on the football field.
But there it is. They're going to keep it on the ground with Mason O'Neill. An impressive win, though. Impressive win.
Yeah.
For Midlothian Heritage. Coming from 4A up to 5A. And just a team that has not missed a beat. There are several teams from that 4A division that have moved up to 5A and still look good. Argyle is one of those teams I was telling you about that I saw that. I was like, wow, really impressed with how well coached and physical that team was.
Sam Hopkins with the carry up the middle there. Argyle, again, as I mentioned, the game that Joe Trahan's at tonight, they lead Lake Dallas 30-14 in what was a matchup of unbeaten teams coming into the evening. So Argyle, the #1 team in 5A Division II, set to remain perfect. So you've had a chance to see some of the best teams in 5AD2. You've seen Argyle. You've seen Grapevine last week. We saw Colleyville Heritage. We've seen now Midlothian Heritage. I'm curious how you would handicap the local 5AD2 scene right now.
It's tough. It really is. And not to take anything away from any of these teams. I've seen, and here's the thing about Midlothian Heritage, I've seen them lose.
Yeah.
To a 4A team, to Stephenville, right? A very well-coached Stephenville team with one of the best quarterbacks, I believe, in the state.
Yes. Who is hurt, by the way, now.
Really?
Ryder Lambert's been hurt the last couple of weeks. Yes, so Stephenville still kept it rolling. So just evidence of how good that football team is.
Watching Argyle play, I mean, they have some stud athletes in pretty much a lot of positions, but they play really well together. But, you know, I'm still thinking about the defending champs, the South Oak Cliff Golden Bears. I mean, until somebody dethrones the champs, it's really hard for me to say anything about anyone else, you know. So it's a lot of talent. I think the playoff, Mike Leslie, the playoffs are going to be very interesting.
Oh, yeah.
In 5AD2. So
Region 1 and Region 2 are absolutely loaded. The North Texas regions, in some way, there are obviously some schools from outside of North Texas within those regions as well, but the North Texas schools, the DFW schools, slide into Region 1 and Region 2 in 5A Division 2, and you've got Argyle, you've got Grapevine, you've got Midlothian Heritage, you've got Colleyville Heritage, you've got South Oak Cliff. I mean, it's just on and on and on and on. The talent is ridiculous and deep, and it is going to be a war to get to the state semifinals out of this part of Texas in 5AD2. One of those teams is going to be part of that war, the Midlothian Heritage Jaguars. A very impressive road win tonight by 24 over Mansfield Summit. Caden Brown with 5 touchdown passes to lead the way as they win their 5th straight.
Yeah, just absolutely monster game for Caden Brown. Did a wonderful job. I mean, he's dealt with adversity in that. The only drive I can think of, man, for Caden Brown where he looked out of sorts was the first one.
Yeah.
After that, I mean, he got up and he answered the bell. He came out swinging. He just, there really didn't look like there was nothing that he could do with the football in his hands. He just, man, he made all the throws. Stetson Surratt, I can't say enough about the job that he did, just catching those short intermediate routes, but also TJ Pride. I mean, it seems like months ago that TJ Pride was softening this defense up, but he was the guy that really got the party started, was TJ Pride. And then, man, the death blow was delivered by Xavier Moten. I mean, he came in and he cleaned things up and just played an excellent game. But this is a tough team, and they're going to be a team that has to be dealt with. Midlothian Heritage, boy, I tell you what, it's going through the district. Anyone that's going to be in their way or in their wake, they will tell you that this is going to be a tough squad to come up against.
I can't help but wonder, only because it's a very clear inflection point when you look back through the football game. The muff snap on the PAT that led to the Sir Luke Tante interception that led to the Solomon Hopkins return for 2 points, the 3-point swing in this football game. What should have been a 14-14 football game as these two teams gather together at midfield for a prayer post-game. That 3-point swing, Heckma Harrison, from that point forward, it was all Heritage. And I wonder if just a clean snap and a solid execution of the PAT, how much different might that moment have felt, and then does that then have a little bit of a domino effect for the subsequent moments?
Yeah, and that's something that you definitely can hang your hat on, because that play really seemed so pivotal, because you were going to tie the ball game up, right, at that moment. But honestly, if this was a heavyweight fight, you just got into those championship rounds, and Midlothian Heritage just had more in their bag in those later rounds. And, you know, you could have came out and you would have been ahead on the scorecard, but at some point, those punches were going to start to take its toll on you. And just using a boxing analogy, it just seemed as though at some point Xavier Moten was going to get out. Okay, at some point, Caden Brown was going to make the play to make the separation in this game. At some point, Mansfield Summit was going to make a mistake that these guys were going to capitalize on, and those moments kept happening time and time again. It started with the Soleil fumble. When he had the fumble, it wasn't as though they got 3 points from the fumble. They came right back down. They scored on that. And so even when they fumbled over it, what did they do? They came right back down. They fumbled on that. So any miscue that you have, they were turning those into 6 points. And so that's what well-coached teams do. They make you pay for your mistakes. And if you come up against this team, you literally have to play error-free football, because any mistakes that they make, they're gonna swallow it, but they're gonna make sure that you play error-free as well. This is a well-coached squad, and man, I look forward to everything that they're gonna do going into the playoffs.
I realized just how tough a question I asked you as I looked a little bit further through the rest of the DFW football teams in 582, because I didn't even mention Lovejoy or Melissa in District 7. You've got Texarkana, Texas High out of District 8. It is unbelievable how deep Region 1 and Region 2 are in 582. It's an absolute slog. Whoever comes out of those two regions, whoever ends up being your state finalist out of that group, you're talking about either your runaway state champion or a team that is going to be seriously banged up, because it's going to be a war to try and get out of there.
And I've seen Texas High as well. I called their first game at AT&T Stadium against Frisco Lone Star, and Frisco Lone Star beat them. Okay, and that's a Frisco Lone Star squad that's struggling right now. So really hard to call these teams that we've seen get early losses. Like I said, I'm trying to figure out where have I seen this team before, because it could not have been the same team that I went up to Midlothian and seen them lose to Stephenville. Stephenville can't be the same team. These guys are incredible.
Caden Brown tonight and Xavier Moten, as we see Eric Edwards talking to his team after a very impressive win. And you see the fire from him right now. Really impressive win for his football team. But the quarterback and the wide receiver, Brown and Moten, that's the story of how they were able to pull away in this game. Those two combined for, as we take a look at the final stats, it did hold steady at 5 receptions, 126 yards, and 4 touchdowns. The big one, a 68-yarder there midway through the third quarter. And that really felt like that was the death blow in this football game. That was the one that put this game away.
No, it was. And it was just little small. What they did, it was like death by 1,000 cuts. It was just little drops in the bucket. And once they got there, and look, I just want to go back to that play with Moten down on the one-handed catch. That was so exceptional. And it started with the back shoulder fade on that. And you just started to see these guys start doing little things that you just practice day in and day out. And they had really, Mansfield had no answer for those plays.
Yeah. When it's all said and done, it is a 44-20 win for Midlothian Heritage, the number 6 team in the state in 582. Shows you why tonight. Next week on Friday Night Football, we head to the 3A ranks. Defending state champion Brock hosting their biggest challenger this season in District 4 3A Division 1, Whitesboro. Next Friday at 7:30 here on Friday Night Football. For our entire crew, Director Clay Marshall, photographers Graham Rainier and Jeremy Tao, digital coordinators Nick Blackhall and Paul Wedding, graphics coordinators Nick Blackhall and Emil Moralda, and the one and only Heckma Harrison alongside. I'm Mike Leslie. So long for Mansfield. The final score one last time, 44-20, as Heritage wins their 5th straight and moves to 5-1. All our Friday Night Football broadcasts stream live and are archived in perpetuity on the WFAA YouTube channel and on the WFAA Plus app. This has been a proud presentation of WFAA TV.